Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Season 4 finals of the RSL. I am Tasteless, joined with me is State. How's it going, man?
Feeling pretty good. It is Championship Sunday here for Season 4, and we have 3 series coming at you. Cure versus Rogue, the Maru versus the winner of that, and then Max Packs waiting in the grand finals. It's going to be an electric day.
It's going to be exciting, man. I'm looking forward to today's matches. It's going to be an extra long day, so if you're joining us live, thank you for being here with us. We've been restructuring the schedule a little bit to try to figure out how to capture the right number of games in the final day or two here. So we decided to start this one early and kind of spread it out, maybe build more viewership, build more hype, and really kind of focus in on the climax of the story here. So as you can see, it's going to start out here with Cure versus Rogue. Maru waits against the winner, as State was saying, and finally we are going to have Max Packs here in the finals. So, you know, I got to say, for all the fear that we have online about, you know, oh no, this race is going to do too well, right now we actually still have a Protoss, 2 Terrans, and a Zerg.
Yeah, it's
so
nice.
That golden ratio kind of comes back once again.
It's nice representation here in the top 4, and I think we're going to have some really fun matches, especially starting out, Cure versus Rogue. Rogue has been so exciting to watch so far in this season of RSL. He's playing a very aggressive, low drone style of Zerg.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love Cure. I would love to see a Maru versus Cure match. But I want to see Rogue succeed, man. He's been the only Zerg in the RSL playoffs that's finding any success.
Yeah.
And I would love to see him go all the way to Max Packs.
Yeah, that would be super hyped to have that here. Guys, we are sponsored by Archon Studio. They're the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game makers, and their products have been incredible. We've got them down here in the studio. I didn't know a whole lot about these guys when they reached out to us a year ago, and I checked out their website. Their stuff is amazing. They have totally done StarCraft justice with the tabletop miniatures game. It's like straight out of the cinematic cutscenes, straight out of the game. And we really appreciate their support and the fact that they have stuck with us.
We also appreciate your support. If you have not yet joined the Patreon, we invite you to join our growing community there. The RSL would not be possible without the support of viewers like you, and there are a ton of different tiers available, different perks such as voting rights for the maps, voting rights for the players invited into each season. You get replay packs as well. It's the complete package. Check it out, patreon.com/ReviveSC2.
Yeah, we can also... you can also check out our merch here. We've got all sorts of RSL merch. We've got hoodies, t-shirts, mugs. Go to tastelessthreads.com. It's also my personal merch is on there. Patreon supporters do get a discount, but if you wanted a simple way that wouldn't be subscription-based to support the show, feel free to go there and check it out. I think we have something for everybody there.
Yeah, and we're also trying to grow the YouTube. And if you're watching this live, we invite you to go to the youtube.com/ReviveSC2 and just click on some of the VODs, leave a like, leave a comment. We're trying to get into the lifeblood of StarCraft 2 on YouTube. There are a ton of good YouTube content creators for StarCraft 2, and for a small channel like us, it's only been around for, 9-10 months? It's not even a year, I think, here for RSL. It's hard for us to kind of get into the algorithm, get this served up to folks who want to watch StarCraft 2 content.
Yeah, you know, the industry term is like cross-pollination, right? Like the people on YouTube see us, they join us on Twitch. The people on Twitch see us, they subscribe to the YouTube. But we're still trying to really build this thing up. And, you know, once you get that viewership to snowball, I think that's when we're going to get to a lot more people. So far, the Twitch presence has been amazing, but yeah, we're really trying our best here to build that YouTube up. By the way, guys, we are giving away the 2025 posters. We have a few left over. There is a raffle active right now. Check your Patreon DMs. And this was actually our one of our commitments we had in 2025, so the poster's finally out. We're going to be sending it out to everybody who was it an Immortal supporter and up?
Yeah, Immortal at any point in 2025, you will be getting your signed poster, and for 10 active paid Patreons of any tier, as long as you're active, as long as you're paid, you're going to be entered automatically into that raffle.
You got to look at that poster and just imagine that right above your fireplace. I mean, how nice is that going to look, right? Right next to a big blown up photo of Grandma. Oh. We're going to put it right here.
Yeah, this thing is absolutely massive. It looks fantastic.
Yeah,
and the one that we're going to have is signed by the entire RSL crew. So make sure you pick it up. It is really a great piece of StarCraft 2 memorabilia.
And that will only go up in value over time. It's kind of like Bitcoin, if you think about it. So get yours when you can. And I think we're ready to go on to our match here today. So Cure versus Rogue. What is that behind Rogue? Every time I see that, is that like one of those Dip machines?
Oh, I thought you meant
Not a
the
machine.
air purifier, air AC unit that you had in there.
Yeah, I'm like, what, is that a PlayStation 6 behind him? That's crazy.
It's
So that's what they
unreleased.
look like. Okay.
I think, I can't remember who it was I was casting with before. They thought it was like the inverter that they have at some of these gyms in Korea where you just kind of strap yourself in and you flip yourself upside down for blood circulation reasons, which I
use
never
that.
quite understood.
I call those Batman machines. I use that.
Hang from the ceiling.
Because my spine is shaped like a question mark, but if I hang upside down, I unwind, and I gain about a foot in height when I do that.
Gotta decompress that spine.
Yeah, that's right. So we're into our game now. It's Rogue here in the bottom right, and Cure in the top left. This is a best of 5, by the way. The winner moves on to face Maru, and that's going to be a best of 7. And then after that, whoever wins there will face off against the Max Packs in a best of 7, where if whoever's from the losers bracket, so let's say it's either Maru or Cure or Rogue, if they win that best of 7, it's a reset into a best of 3. Just to keep you up to date now that we're in the game, this is the journey we're going to be on. And by the end of tonight, we are going to have an RSL Season 4 champion.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a marathon today. 3 Best of X series with a potential bracket reset as well in the grand finals because Max Packs, of course, in the double elimination tournament, you got to be eliminated twice to be out of it. He still has 2 lives. As here in game number 1 between Cure and Rogue, starting things out, we have a very fast command center, 17 CC. CC first on the low ground here for Cure.
Yeah, so quick CC play, which we've seen Cure do, a decent amount. Both these players I'm actually super excited to see because I think they've both looked very impressive, especially Rogue this season. But, Cure's had a very unique approach to all the matchups. He's not in any way like a carbon copy of Maru. He really has a lot of interesting ideas that he's been tinkering with and kind of marches to his own beat. And then one of the things about Rogue, and obviously this guy has been one of the greatest players ever in StarCraft 2, a world champion multiple times, but he just sort of knows how to win. A lot of players will complain about like, okay, well, this is what the meta looks like, or the matchup's too hard because there are these parameters that make it too difficult for me to get into late game or do this. But what I like about Rogue is he just sort of circumvents that. Like, he's been playing a lot more of a poppy, aggressive style. Because I think in a lot of cases he doesn't want to have some of these more drawn-out games, which I think is great. I mean, I always think back to, and I can't remember which GSL finals it was because we've had so many, but he played a very specific kind of control play the entire tournament, and then when he faced Maru in the finals, he switched into only Roach Ravager and did this like weird mid-game stuff that we hadn't seen basically the whole season from him, and totally smashed Maru. And it's like, okay, he must know that either Maru struggles against this or there's something he doesn't know, but the point I'm trying to make is like he just understands how to win, whether the circumstances favor Zerg or maybe Zerg's at a disadvantage.
He's very good at mixing it up. And what we've seen from him so far in this RSL is explosive play. He's been going for a lot of run-bys. He's been doing, frankly, a lot of all-ins in every single matchup. And he's doing it on reliably a low drone count. Even when he's going up into 3-4 bases, his drone count, it might be 5-10 drones lower than you would expect a Zerg like Raynor to be at, because he just wants to have more units on the field. He wants to try and create problems for his opponent to solve. And in a tough situation, especially this late into a tournament, the pressure can get to you, even in the online format. And Rogue tries to exploit that in any way that he can.
Yeah. Rogue is, he's just an excellent player, very talented. And this is going to be a fun one. And again, with all the complaining about Protoss, who knows? Maybe Rogue goes all the way and actually takes it. It is a lot of games that they're going to have ahead. We should point out, too, like, let's say that either Cure or Rogue were to go to the finals. It is an insanely difficult road to take. And that's the burden of being from the loser's bracket, right? It has to be a little bit harder. If Max Plax plays flawlessly, which he basically did as far as StarCraft 2 series go, then he's going to have the advantage. So he's basically sitting back, watching these games unfold. But it's a real fight, a real uphill fight here for both of these guys, whoever's going to take it.
Yeah, I got to get through 4 series in total to be a champion here for Cure and Rogue because of that bracket reset as well. Is Rogue going to try and get a Ling into the main base? Doesn't quite see the infrastructure. Does spot the barracks and the starport, so a little bit further up that ramp than I thought he might be there with a vision. But obviously doesn't know that there's a 2 barracks follow-up to this one from Cure. Although, I must say, it's a pretty standard opening that we have Cure doing. It's not the greediest build in the world. It's only 1 engineering bay. We don't yet have a 3rd command center. Actually, hold that thought. We have 4 more barracks coming down. I wonder if we're going to have something really aggressive from Cure in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I actually was maybe a little bit deterministic about this in my head. I thought we would 100% have another command center. You know, this was like right when you started casting with me after Artosis left. Remember, there's all these different iterations of the 2 command center plays.
Yeah, CC first and a Master Axe, and you just send it.
but people stopped doing this. People do not do this anymore, and I think it was deemed as kind of obsolete. But Cure is going to come in here with kind of an unusual curveball of a play. And, you know, one thing about Rogue is he's very good at being greedy, which is this could punish. Let's not forget, I still think about that game from Beyond 2 days ago, where he like basically did the cheese and it failed, and then he made a command center, and then just like did an all-in. Like the command center is part of the all-in because it makes you think that the game's going to go on. So maybe this push is going to do something. But if this doesn't work for Cure, it's a really annoying rest of the game, because Zerg is usually able to kind of keep you off of a third base and slow you down and really grow and take the whole map, and usually you have to win in like a really long game from there.
All right, Stim in from Cure. He does not want to allow Rogue to spot exactly what the setup is. It's one of the reasons why I think we have 2 barracks hidden behind the mineral line in the natural expansion.
100%.
Rogue is going for mutilating Baneling right now, and he's doing it on 60 drones, which is a relatively low drone count here on 3 bases. It's not full saturation just yet. And he needs to just make units basically nonstop from here on out, because there's no third command center for Cure. Cure is not trying to play a macro game. We don't necessarily have an SCV pull, but he is very committed to getting damage done right now.
Okay, so the push is going to come out. The question is going to be, how much is this, how effective will this actually be? Kind of funny to see he has the, oh my god, don't lose that medevac! Okay, that was when the tank was in. I was going to say, I think we only see Bunny ever do that, but he's going to be out on the map here. Right now, Rogue has not really been able to do any extra damage, as long as these medevacs stay safe. Cure's sharking around trying to look for a position. The creep spread, by the way, is looking pretty strong.
Yeah, good creep spread right now by Rogue. He's actually coming on both sides. A Stim back from Cure off creep, but the Baneling's just a little bit too quick. There's no +1 man. They're just sprinting. Just keep running. The reinforcements run headlong into the Banelings. These connections are pretty good here for Rogue, despite the split of Cure. Just catching him before the siege tanks were actually set up to fire. There was no splash damage from Cure. Combat shields was not done. I think +1 just finished during that engagement. But oh man, that's a lot of momentum lost here for the Terran player.
Yeah, that's rough. You know, the tanks are really the anchor in the push. And now he's got, the Banshee doesn't really help in any way. He has one tank that's been pushed pretty far back, but you don't have any kind of foothold to really lash out at the Zerg, right? You have this sort of awkward position. So Cure's going to unsiege. He's going to try to nudge himself a little bit further forward here, but that's always when Zerg's going to punish. Oh, Rogue is so sick. He just snipes the tank. And Cure is really destabilized here. And now we're going to be in one of these games where it's going to be so hard to take an additional base. I think there are enough Lings and Banes you can basically just fight this. Oh, maybe not, actually.
Some Marines are going to survive, but so many medevacs went down there for Cure that I think Rogue is just happy to take that trade any day of the week. There is still no third command center for Cure. He needs to make this work, and cost efficiency has almost been even between these two, which says a lot because Rogue is up 13 workers right now. He has that third base. The Mutas are going to swoop in again, take out another siege tank. Cure just cannot get a foothold before this third base.
Yeah, he is going to try to come in here for another surround again. It's only Lings. I don't believe there's any Banes with this, so you got to be careful not to overextend. Okay, here come the Banes with this as well. If he can get the tank again, that would be crazy. And a command center just started. So for some perspective here, both players had to play a pretty low expansion powering style because things ramped up pretty quickly. But the third base is super important in StarCraft 2 because a lot of games are just basically, not a whole lot happens until the third base is up and running, basically. So Cure's going to be playing from a pretty tough spot. Now, he actually somehow just kind of slips through a blind spot here. They're both going to be taking huge hits at each other. The Mutas are going to be hitting these SCVs. Meanwhile, the fourth base is, I think it was either killed or denied.
Yeah, fourth base gets canceled there by Rogue. As Cure is scrambling to try and defend in the main base right now. He doesn't actually have any missile turrets set up here in the natural expansion. I'm not sure if there's any in the main, so the entire mineral line lost. 16 SCVs do fall. Marines are going to stim. Only one turret here going to guard the main base. I think there is enough production here for Cure to stabilize, but on Rogue's side of the map, all that Cure really got done was denying that fourth base. Rogue was still happily on a 3-base economy. He's still fully saturated on those bases. Now that the main is starting to mine out. And these Mutalisks have gotten so much value already, not just sniping the siege tanks and the medevacs earlier on, but also this counterpunch coming in and just completely decimating the mineral lines of Cure down to 31 workers. 1 or 2 mutas will fall here. That's a nice catch by Cure, but he has a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah, Cure is going to have that base up, but this is where it slows down. That 2-base failed push really makes the game pretty silent for a little bit, right? Like, Rogue can obviously fly around and try to look for any damage he can get away with here, but this is where the Zerg gets to suddenly power up. You get to really flex your position here on the map and expand everywhere. And although, gosh, as I was saying that, I kind of forgot that he did lose that 4th base. So I guess it really is just 4 base to 3 base. For some reason in my mind, sorry everybody, I thought Rogue was on 5 bases. But no, he's not. So he's still in a strong position, but it's not as strong as it could be.
Oh, I didn't even notice this. Cure had been building the armory in the engineering bay in the natural expansion, if I'm not mistaken, and I think the Mutalisks actually canceled that. So we still don't have 2-2 started yet for Terran. They just finished in the main base instead, and look at the mineral income here for Cure. He needs to get turrets set up so that he can have some kind of defense to fall back on against the Mutas, so that he can finally get back onto the map, and then he can start these upgrades. So it's been a significant delay. We're actually going to have Rogue, who was behind on upgrades earlier on in the game, getting 2-2 much faster than the Terran, and that's something you very rarely see in the TVZ.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Kira's going to move out again. It's 41 SCVs. I think he went as low as 30 SCVs when the Mutas came in there and did that damage, which, by the way, makes it a lot harder to start to take advantage of this 3rd base. Because you don't have the optimal amount of workers to even soak up the resources. And Rogue's going to go with a nice counterattack here. So this is walled off, but this 3rd base is completely exposed, and it's going to be a bit of a trading position. So SCVs, almost all of them are going to be completely decimated. And I think that Rogue probably wants to sack this base that's getting attacked down here. I think you just cancel this, cut your losses, and I think every time we see this tit for tat, I do think this is a little bit better here for Rogue, but hold on a second, because he's going to be elevating these units in the main, and this is a really hard position to kind of crack open.
Yeah, Rogue going to be pushing in right now. All Siege Tanks are on the low ground. Banelings on the top. In the main base of Rogue are cleaned up by Cure, but the entire position at the Triangle 3rd just evaporates here. The Muta's now coming into the main base. The Zerglings get the full surround on the Marines. And with basically no economy back at home, I mean, Cure is on his last legs here.
I think Cure's dead. I mean, he lost everything in the main here. There's like 1 medevac, not even enough to pick up all these Marines. And that's going to be it. GG. Oof. Beautifully done, Rogue. Looking so strong. I like what Cure was trying to do, but you can see what happens. Like, again, kind of an old build, but to do the 2-base, command center first into like powering up, trying to do a push. If it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. It's really hard to get any kind of advantage, unless I guess you were to like just turtle on your side of the map and drag the game out to like a half hour and win with exhaust play.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue just never gave him any opportunity to actually get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
The moment that Cure finally stepped on a creep with that 5 barracks push on a Rogue side of the map, Rogue just collapses on it from 2 locations. The Siege Tanks unsieged were not able to deal with the Banelings, and Cure basically retreated back to his natural expansion, away from Mutalisks, away from Lings, away from Banelings. And it says a lot that Rogue is able, on 3 bases with Mutaling Bane, to bully the Terran back to their side of the map so relentlessly. When Cure he's not all in, but that is a heavily committed build, going for 5 barracks on 2 CC with no 3rd command center, with no double engineering bay. Rogue just fighting so powerfully in the mid game.
Yeah, I mean, nicely done here by Rogue. In this best of 5 right now, he takes the 1-0 lead here. And we got to see what Cure's going to do this time around here. Remember that, like, Rogue's the last Zerg here. So, like, anything that Cure has right now at TVZ, he's going to bring the best of it. He's not trying to keep any ace up his sleeve for, like, the other Zerg later on, deeper in the tournament, anything like that. So I don't think we're going to see that 2-base build again, but whatever's the strongest TVZ he's got, I'm sure he's going to be showing it to us in this game.
All right, game number 2 on 10,000 feet loaded in. Cure spawning in the bottom right is the red Terran, Rogue, the blue Zerg in the top left. We're going to go for the low ground wall in here as Cure. Might have some early Reaper play, reminiscent of the way the Byun used to open in TVZ a couple of years ago. It has fallen out of style, but it's still a good build to mix in.
Right. And Rogue, basically staying true to, what we were talking about earlier. Very much a survivor, regardless of the state of the game, the patch, the iteration that the game is in, the meta. even the maps. He's very good at kind of understanding what the conditions are for him to win versus a given opponent.
Yeah, he's been the only Zerg to find success in the RSL so far this season.
Right.
Raynor was eliminated in the group stages on day 1. We had Cham, who was very successful in previous seasons of RSL, also get eliminated without winning one series. And Shin as well was not able to make it into the RSL playoffs. The RSL playoffs, Rogue has been the only Zerg from day 1, and he is still fighting here on the final day of the RSL, up 1-0 now versus Cure. And he's been playing a different brand of Zerg from basically everybody. Low economy, very aggressive, fighting for domination on the map, not afraid to all in, not afraid to cut drones and bully a Cure who's 5-rexing him on 2 bases to his side of the map. It's exciting to see.
It's super cool to see. And it's, you know, I think maybe some of the ideas that Zerg maybe needed right now. You know, every once in a while, Zerg get really into this kind of like macro mindset of like playing perfectly and kind of continuing to grow and tech up. But it's like, yeah, the race is not always going to be able to do that in different moments of the patch. Sometimes it's better to be trying to, like, you know, take fights on the map or to have counterplay and stuff like that. So this is going to be the 2-Rex Reaper with the wall in here, which usually, usually has a command center behind it like we're seeing now. And, you know, there's a lot of different versions of this. We've seen ones where you get a lot of Reapers. We've seen ones where you get like 2 or 3. And as the game continues to develop, we're going to see exactly what Cure has in store for us here. The sooner you cut the Reapers, the faster you can start to make Marines. Reapers fall off in value in kind of an insane way as the game goes on. They can't really fight anything. But, you know, if you get enough Reapers out, sometimes you can put on pressure, you can get a lot of drone kills, and it can really pay off.
Rogue has been watching the Reaper positioning here in the natural expansion, waiting for a moment to sneak these 4 Zerglings into the main base. He still sees the Reapers there, so he's going to continue to keep these postured right now in the foliage.
So this is going to be a Roach rush here.
Oh, it is? I didn't even see the production tab.
Yeah, so the idea is that all of your infrastructure is at the front of your base, including the add-ons. So, and I love this, just coming down here and hitting like the tech lab, for instance. So this is a huge problem. Now, the Reapers are going to come back, and that does chase them away, but that's kind of okay, right? Because he's powering up with Roaches. The Reapers are no longer scouting. So you almost like magnetically pull the Reapers back to defend.
Oh my goodness. Rogue able to get this around on all 4 Reapers.
Dude, that was tactically so perfect.
He just lulls Cure in this false sense of security because he cleans up those 4 Lings, and then Rogue knows where every single Reaper is. He waits on the top of the ramp where Cure is going to go should he decide to move to Rogue's side of the map with those Reapers, intercepts them, and now it's just a trickling of Marines from these 2 barracks here in the wall-in, from 1 more barracks in the main base. We have Stim, Combat Shield, and +1 infantry weapons. All started here for Cure. Actually, a 4th barracks even for Cure. So production-wise, he's in a good position, but none of these upgrades are going to be in time. Yeah. And already the Ravagers are coming now into the natural expansion. That tech lab potentially going down here.
Yeah, and you can dish out these biles in a way that are going to hit those SCVs as well. Oh, he just opens it up! Oh my god. This is insane. The Roaches, the Ravagers are all going to come through here. The bile connects on the Marines. What?
How often do you see biles connecting on Marines this early in the game? That bile does get dodged. Only 4 more Marines standing here in the natural expansion. Cure. Oh, not looking happy on the cam.
Oh my god, I need to get Blizzard on my speed dial. We got to get Zerg a nerf again. They're too strong.
Rogue is looking so good. That was tactically so brilliant. Going for the 4 Zerglings. As he makes this call the moment he sees the wall on the low ground. I guarantee that was not the plan going into this game. But he sees the wall on the low ground. Byun for a long time was the only Terran player who could really only make that defense work. It's been very tricky for everybody else. And Cure, he had the infrastructure to manage a defense with those 4 barracks, but he just didn't know it was coming. You want to be able to throw down bunkers. You got to get mentally prepared as well for a push like this one. His supply depot was down.
It was pretty perfect. I mean, he used the Lings. He drew back the Reapers so the Reapers can't scout. Then he set up a trap and killed all of the Reapers without ever exposing that the Roach Ravager rush, was coming, right? So then, you know, there's an incredible amount of ambiguity. You know that there are threats there. Then he immediately comes down. He destroys the tech lab. The depot went down. I don't know. That almost happened so fast I didn't quite see Was he trying to let something in, or what was going on there?
I think Kira was trying to get the Marine ball into a position where he can kind of like stutter step with the wall and open, and just start taking some damage, because the barracks, obviously they're in the back. It's hard for the Marines to really deflect the Roaches or the Ravagers at all. And so I think that was the decision that he made. He's like, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to try and control this position, but Rogue just had so much that he quickly overwhelmed it. Kira was not able to lift that depot back up, and a Rogue up 2-0 now in this best of 5.
Guys, sign up for the Patreon. It's patreon.com/ReviveSC2. We need your support. This is the state that StarCraft 2 is in. We want to keep doing the RSL forever, indefinitely. And the only way we can do it is if you guys support us. So if you can sign up for one of our tiers, we would greatly appreciate it. We know not everybody is able financially to be in a position to subscribe to our Patreon, but you can always just join it. We will be emailing you with updates for the tournament and stuff like that. But if you do join, we've got different tiers that'll let you vote for players or for maps, all that. So we're really trying to build something awesome here. We're gonna take a short little break. When we come back, we're gonna continue on in this best of 5 with Rogue versus Cure. Right now, Rogue up 2-0.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be going into game number 3 very shortly here. Me and Sturgeon have tagged on for the rest of this series. Welcome back. You were gone yesterday. It was just me and State. But how you been enjoying this series? It's pretty quick so far.
Yeah, a lot of short games, but very exciting games. I'm so happy the Rogues made it this far, despite being the only Zerg in the playoffs. Can't wait to see how far he can go, or if Cure can bring it back, and then how the following games go afterwards.
Yeah, he's basically in the position to go for the massive lower gauntlet run. Like, he's just right in there from the beginning of the lower bracket. Could go all the way to the finals against Max Pax later. Would be a great Cinderella story overall for him. I mean, coming in as like the one sole Zerg in the playoffs would be pretty crazy if he could actually pull that off.
Yeah, it'd probably be the best lower bracket run in RSL history.
In RSL
history. Yeah,
Our
for the
gigantic history.
But, I mean, you started off with a 3-0 hero. Let's not forget that.
True.
Really good set there. Up 2-0 now. The map is going to be Necropolis for map number 3 here. And, yeah, he's looking chill. He's got the sun in his eyes. Oh, no.
Yeah, I can't ever play like that, by the way.
Neither can I.
I need to put the curtain down or whatever. The glare on the screen is so obnoxious. I can't deal with that, but...
Anyways, showing the duality of his play style, light and dark.
Which one will he choose? The dark,
the honorable macro, or the filthy all-in?
It's really up in the cards. Let's see what it's going to be on Necropolis in our next map. Of course, Rogue on the top left as the blue Zerg, and on the bottom right-hand side, Cure as the red Terran. Playing for Team Liquid. Rogue currently actually teamless. Falcons just dropped him.
Unfortunate. I'm
Let's
sure
see if he can prove his worth.
Soon.
Prove his worth with this event.
Indeed. We'll have to see what Cure's going to go for this game. Obviously, went for that 2-Rex last game. I don't think we'll see that again. Obviously, he's making the depot on the high ground in the main, so we see he's not. And in game number 1 as well, you stayed on 2 bases for a long time. I always think of Cure as a very macro-focused Terran. The 3cc ARAX is kind of what he's known for as his strongest build. So I'd like to see something a little bit more macro-orientated from him. Now that his tournament life is on the line.
Yeah, it was a bit surprising to see him go for such an old school style with that 2-base push. It's Tasteless and them were saying it's something we don't normally see as much. So would be very surprised to see him go back into that. But it's likely going to be some more stock standard stuff coming out from Cure. I'd expect maybe some Hellion Banshee stuff, whatever. Going into the three base like you had mentioned as well. Rogue is the one that really I'm kind of keeping my eyes on to see exactly how he wants to play this, because he's always got this incredible style. He's able to do anything that he wants. It feels like it seems like he just kind of dictates the matchup in the way that he deems most fit. So I'm just very curious to see what he's going to bring out to potentially close this out in 3 games.
I mean, if you look at the variety of his builds, it's insane. Against Bjorn, we saw a lot of Roach Ravager games. We just saw Mutalisk. We just saw a Roach all-in on 20 drones. Like, it really feels like he can do anything right now. We've also seen him play Lingbane Ultra and other matchups and stuff. The world is his oyster. Just getting started up here as the hatch finishes. The SCV will confirm that. And then he has the choice. Do you want to go to the 3rd and block it? Or do you want to send that home? He's going to keep it at the front for now as the Reaper comes over. Sees which way the drone is going. He might actually be a little bit too late there. He doesn't have the minerals just yet, so he will be able to get the block. And the Reaper goes to the other base as well. This could be a little bit annoying if he doesn't get that hatchery down in time. Oh! Okay, forced to take the Vespene here.
Yeah, at least keeping the drone alive is nice, so losing that would have been very annoying. Looks like Rogue's actually going to send the initial links across the map, knowing that this Reaper is going to stay pretty committed on his side. Needs to be very careful with the drones, though, as he does miss that one chance to block the Reaper damage and does lose the drone. But of course, those 4 lings are getting sent across. There's no bunker being made, and there's no... There looks like there's only a single Marine out. It is on the high ground, though, so that will not get surrounded. Can't just lift that depot. And unfortunately for him, the SCV actually does finish that command center in time. Will still lose it, but does not... there you go. But does not actually get the delay on the command center with those 4 lings. So a bit unfortunate for Rogue.
Yeah, if you stop that CC building, that's a huge win, but just in the nick of time is Cure. Going to be rotating his buildings over here, get that factory pumping out 2 Hellions at a time. The Reaper just hanging out the main, maybe wants to follow up scout again. Last game he actually got in the main and saw that Rogue was continuing to mine gas after the first 100, which is often a big tell that something is coming. So just being active with this Reaper, seeing what info we can gain. We see that there's no guys in gas at the moment. And 2 lings just running around the map, checking there's nothing sneaky going on.
Yeah, one going on at the top right-hand side as well. Rogue just really making sure that there's nothing crazy happening. Doesn't want to get super caught off guard. Maybe Cure might want to try for something really interesting, considering the fact that it's, he's down. Maybe he has to take some risks here and there, but Cure, I think, we said it before, in this type of position, he's not the player that's going to be going for that. That's something that maybe like Maru would go for, or maybe Beyond or something like that, if they weren't already being insanely aggressive in the first place earlier in the series. But Cure is the one that's just going to go back to what he is known for, which is, again, that Hellion Banshee play, 3CC, getting Cloak as well. Very standard from him. So this is what we kind of know is his bread and butter. He's very solid at this, is able to just bring this out against any type of player. So Rogue's going to be on the defensive in that regard for the first couple minutes, just making sure these Hellions and Banshees don't do an insane amount of damage to his economy, and then he's going to be trying to ramp up after that.
Okay, the Overlord floats in here. We'll get a full scout, sees the 3rd CC, very important. Sees the Banshee in production as well as Cloak. Obviously, it could be a fake, but good to know that that is a possible thing that the Terran is making. Going up towards his lair, not a super quick one or anything this game. Has his Baneling Nest coming down as well. And right now, we're just waiting to see if Kirill wants to just deny creep or if he's going to dive these Hellions once the Banshee comes across. And how much damage he can get done. He actually has the Banshees grouped with the Hellion for the moment. Maybe you want to split those off. You can kind of do it 2 ways, right? You can group everything and try and kill queens, or you can split the Hellions and the Banshees up and try and get as many workers as you can. So let's see what the approach he goes for here.
Yeah, Hellion's going over on the right-hand side. Banshee right along with them as well. Scan getting thrown down to kill off some of these creep tumors. Could dive onto this queen as well, as there's not many lings here to support this. The only ones alive are getting held back because they will get killed off very easily, but nicely done by Rogue to bring those other queens over, rotate them in, and be able to keep the other one alive. A singular ling is going to find its way into the main base to get a slight scout, but nothing too crazy revealing. Just sees the 3 barracks there, so it's nothing out of the ordinary so far from Cure. So Rogue will be just pretty happy just to continue to sit back, just try and keep these 4 bases set up, keep the queens going around, get the creep going, and make sure that Cure can't take any of that away from him.
Yeah, I love that little follow-up scout there. Just check, what's going on. We do see it's going to be a Spire here for Rogue with a double Evo as well. Going to get that melee and armor upgrade going. And yeah, I think Mew has worked really well for him in the first game. Why not go for it again? His control is so good with the Mew list. He's so active with them, picks off so much. The Banshees here pick up 3 drones, not too bad.
Yeah, considering the fact that the queens were doing so well at deflecting them earlier, 3 drones basically for free is a nice little catch there for Cure. Obviously, it's not game ending or anything like that. We'll be able to kill a couple more over at the 4th base and deny mining for just a little bit, which is also quite nice, but this isn't going to, again, decide the game or anything like that. Just some light harassment as Cure then starts to set up his actual move out with his Marine tank coming in as well. The double medevac will be joining shortly as he tries to pressure this 4th base.
Dude, Rogue's already up to 83 drones versus the 59 of Cure. This is insane. If he doesn't die to this push, he's going to be in such an amazing position here. He's taken another base, so he'll be able to actually put those workers to use. His eco is super strong right now, and once the mutas get to work, I really like his position. This little run by going to come in from a weird angle here. Finds the mineral line, Gemini.
Yeah, this is quite nice. Really Cure, unexpected to have this come over here. Luckily, the Banshees are back and we'll be able to deal with that a little bit, but the SCVs need to evacuate, and a lot of them are going down, whereas the push from Cure is not really threatening anything just yet. The tank is still kind of far away, so the Marines need to go very far forward to find any damage and kind of bait Rogue into this actual fight. You can see Rogue even trying to go for some sort of a flank with the units, but it takes forever for these units to actually get there. We'll eventually set this up, but Rogue could just wait. He doesn't need to pull this trigger anytime soon. He can even just go for a counterattack with these Lings as well.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job of threatening these counterattacks, keep the rest of the Terran army at home, and then hopefully swamp on the front force and clear all of this up. I think Cure senses it though, and he may just decide to pull back here. We just saw him make like 15 mutas at a time or something. So he has a bunch of them out right now. You can start to pick off these tanks. That one tank's been left there basically to die if Rogue finds it. It is being protected by the Marines now. And here comes the rest of the Terran army grouping up.
Yeah, and 1-1 is going to finish up as well for Rogue, so he bought enough time to make sure he can get those crucial upgrades in. And he's also going to go for a massive counterattack with the Mutas spawning out and the Lings coming as well, so it's going to force everything back home. SCVs, again, being forced to run away, and a massive Baneling shot getting killed, killing a lot of those SCVs, and the Mutas are going to continue to go into the main base as well. Cure is taking insane amounts of damage over and over. But the Mutas walking over a giant pack of Marines. Don't want to have that happening as Rogue, but still, overall, good damage from him.
That is like the only way you can lose this game right now is if you somehow sack your whole flock of mutas. Luckily, he doesn't lose an insane amount. Still quite a few, though. They are very expensive. And, I mean, like I said, if Rogue survived that attack, he'll be in an amazing spot. And that's what we see right now. He's on 83 workers, 50 supply ahead. Basically, he's got everything going for him right now. 2-2 on the way at a similar time to the Terran. Going for the Eva Chamber. And once again, not going to fight the Terran head up. Going to counterattack.
This is just ridiculous from Rogue. Just every single time Cure wants to try and go across the map. Wow. And he's just going to GG as well. The counterattacks unrelenting. Rogue with a very quick 3-0 to start off our final day of RSL Season 4.
Cure couldn't even get the fight he wanted at the end. Like the big fight. He just forced to run home repeatedly, try to defend, and it felt like he was a bit indecisive with his push. Like he wanted to make the push, but then he got stopped. And he ends up just sitting outside the Zerg base for like 3 or 4 minutes. Not committing at any moment. And then forced to go home.
It's really unfortunate because just the way the map worked out, like he got that cool little anchoring position at the bottom of the ramp, but it doesn't threaten anything. Like I had mentioned, like you have to go so far forward with the Marines. Normally how that works is that you can kind of try to bait them in because the tank shots are going to be shelling something, or at least the Marines can dip and dive pretty close to the tank as well. But Rogue's just like, what are you doing here? Like, okay, you can just enjoy that spot. I'm just going to go counterattack endlessly. And yeah, Cure could never pick the fight that he was looking for in that entire mid game.
I just can't believe he got away with 83 workers versus that push. If I try that on the ladder, dude, I'm so dead.
Yeah.
But Rogue, obviously an amazing macro player. And he played some really cool games today, all different styles. He's going to move on in the bracket to play Maru. That will be our next set today. And then the winner of that series goes on to the grand finals, where they meet Max Pax, who's looking almost untouchable, dude.
Yeah, man. David Kim wins again, man. 1 Protoss, 1 Terran, 1 Zerg. He just can't stop winning, man. It's 2026, and he's still out here doing it. So, yeah, Maru Rogue is going to be awesome. That's going to be an absolute banger of a match. I mean, such a historied match in general, just them being former Jin Air teammates, of course, from way long ago. So that one is just, I'm really excited to see how that one works out. Could be either of them going to the finals.
And it could be you on the YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/@ReviveSC2, please check it out, guys. We're trying to grow this tournament, get it going in the algorithm. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed over there already. We appreciate you guys. If you haven't, please check it out.
Nice. We're going to be going to a short little break. After that, it's going to be the best of 7 between Maru and Rogue. Stick around.
What's up, guys? Tasteless here. I am going to be showing you the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game again, and this time we're going to be unboxing it. So let's get started. This thing is massive. All right. Oh my God. Okay. So much is in here. This is crazy. I believe these are crystals from the ground, as well as some kind of shots, I think, from Terran Marines here. These are little crosses here for the medics. Some plating here, it looks like, for Marines and Marauders. And then we go into all purple here, and I assume all these purple ones are different build outs for different Zerg units. I think it's each one is a Zergling here. This has got to be the Queen? No, this could be Sarah Kerrigan. Okay, so now these are all the Terran parts, and you can see just how much detail goes into each little piece. Like, they keep it really true to Blizzard artwork for how the game looks. It looks basically identical to what you see in the cutscenes and in the cinematics. A lot of love went into this. So this terrain is actually supposed to be from Lost Temple. So if you played any of StarCraft 1 or 2 from the early days, Lost Temple was kind of the map. This is what it comes with. This is the tile set. This is Lost Temple, the map. So it comes with a die here, the playing cards that allow you to play the game. Ruler, so you can measure how many spaces a unit can move or the distance it can attack at. The markers that you would use when you're actually playing the game to catalog events that are happening in various turns. It does come with a StarCraft tabletop miniatures game booklet, which is basically going to be an instruction manual. And last, but certainly not least, rules and references here. So this is everything. All of this comes with a StarCraft tabletop miniatures game 2-player starter set. It is honestly way more than I even expected. I knew when I looked at the figurines on the back there was going to be a lot in here, but it's crazy. So if you buy this, you're going to have a lot of work ahead of you, a lot of fun, a lot of assembling, a lot of painting, and then obviously a lot of games to play. Coming up next, we are going to start our first miniatures painting.
2 Marines is getting left out here.
Welcome back, everybody. We are going to be going into the lower final between Rogue and Maru. Rogue just dispatched Cure 3-0 in a very quick series, but now he's going against the big Terran boss, basically, of Maru. The endgame boss you never want to go against. This is going to be a tough battle for sure.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Rogue's looking very good in the matchup. We got to say, he just dispatched of Cure pretty easily and pretty quickly, it looks like. Using a variety of different builds, but Maru is built different.
Oh, yeah.
He is built different. He does not die easily. Here we see the bracket. It's Maru Rogue coming up in a second. The winner of that is moving on to Grand Finals, where they will play against Max Pax, who has to lose twice. So there will be a bracket reset. It's a best of 7 first, and then if there's a bracket reset, that will be a best of 3.
Yes, we got the excellent bracket reset last season with Maru Hero in that crazy finals.
That was peak
absolutely
StarCraft,
ridiculous.
man.
And then it went to all of the best of 3 games as well, which was
what
just
was it
ridiculous.
in the end? Like a best of...
It was like a best of 17 or something because they also had played in the upper bracket finals or whatever. Yeah, give me a soda. But yeah, no, it was like just the most ridiculous series, like prolonged series of all time. It was absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, we're going to be hopefully getting some really epic matches the rest of today as well. Starting off with this one, Maru versus Rogue. Map 1 going to be Ruby Rock, and then we got a couple of new maps with Missing You Today, but then Celestial Enclave Mothership coming on in will be very nice to see as well. So some great maps to be had in this series, and we're going to get loaded on up into game number 1 on Ruby Rock here. Let's see who will be meeting Max Pax in that Grand Finals.
I've got to say, I love the map pool this season.
Yeah.
It's like really nice. The only thing I kind of wish we had is something like Evil Heart. Like a crazy cheese aggressive map, like a smaller map. But apart from that, the maps are all beautiful. I love the spread we've got here. It is going to be Ruby Rock, as you mentioned, for game number 1. Rogue down here in the bottom right, and Maru in the top left. I just saw his camera go to the bottom left of the screen. I don't know if that means anything. You know, when you see that sometimes you go,
analyzing the screen movements.
Yeah. I saw it. It flicked down there, so who knows? Maybe setting up a camera location for a proxy later.
Oh, the proxy starport perhaps in the TVZ matchup maybe will be coming out, but no, it's probably just going to be a 4th base or 5th base or something later on. But anyways, yeah, I'm very curious to see what both these players are going to bring out here. Of course, Rogue coming out with some very aggressive stuff in the previous series, but then that last game just going straight up into like what you said, 83 drones or something like that. You were absolutely appalled at the amount of greed that he was allowed to get away with.
I love that he got away with it. It's so many drones. Like I feel like against the 3-base Terran push, 70 or maybe 75 is kind of the point where I start to feel unsafe afterwards, but he got away with it. He bought a lot of time with the run bys, and then his economy was insane, and then he never fought the Terran army head on, which is what you're supposed to do with Ling Muto, right? Just backstab, counterattack, all that good stuff, and he took the win. And Rogue's so scary to play against right now because of all these builds he's got.
Yeah.
And it's not just different macro styles or unit comps. It's cheese, it's timings, it's roach pressure into droning. It's just like all these different styles he's bringing to the table.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for Maru to kind of identify exactly what's happening and just to make sure he can tailor his build specifically towards that. Or perhaps Maru just decides to take the tempo himself and just tries to get in Rogue's face right at the beginning, force Rogue to be the one to have to respond and adapt his overall playstyle. Because Maru, obviously, is someone that could very easily go very aggressive early on in the game, but then also just switch it up and just do the total turtle late game Terran style. He's basically the king of that, I would say. He's so good at the late game Ghost Liberator defensive play. So Maru also one of those players that can throw in everything, especially even maybe a proxy 2-Rax or something too.
Yeah, and in a best of 7, we will hopefully get to see some of those cool builds. Right now, everything's very standard. Reaper expand. Rogue taking his third base, got 6 Lings out to deal with this Reaper until the Queen arrives. And then the Reaper will have to leave. Confirm this third base is going down. And behind this we have a third CC from Maru as well. So it looks like we may be in for a bit of a macro game here. Unless Rogue suddenly switches it up here.
Yep, going to be playing very standard, except for that positioning of the command center. That is very strange. We almost never see it just thrown into the front wall there. So usually it's somewhere in the main base, and then it can just kind of lift off over to the third base at the pocket, the triangle location. But we'll just be throwing it in the wall as well. So maybe we'll dodge an Overlord scout, because sometimes the Overlords do like to go in the main base to try and scout that out. Maybe trying to do some mind games there against an opponent that Maru should be very well aware of what he does. You know, these two players, great friends. They've played against each other many times, but not much recently, actually. I was actually just talking to you about this on the break, but they've only played once ever since Rogue came back from the military. Actually, losing that Reaper is Maru. That's actually a bit of an uncharacteristic mistake. But yeah, like I said, they only played once last year, and that's the only time they've played really since Rogue has kind of returned from the military. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. They have had a lot of games in the past, but not too much recently.
Beautiful scout there by that Zergling. Does confirm the third CC as well as the reactor on the Hellion, on the factory making Hellions. Throws down his Roach Warrior now, going to add a couple more gases. So it looks like Rogue is going into his Roach style that we've kind of known him for recently, and actually a Liberator on the side of Maru.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how much damage that's actually going to do, of course, because the Liberator is something that we don't see as often anymore, so it's, you know, sometimes can catch the Zerg player a little off guard if they don't have their Overlords in position or the Queen's just not in the right spot. But Rogue, I feel like, might be aware that this is happening. As Mappa was pointing out, he didn't actually see a tech lab on that starport. I'm not sure if that was actually the Ling just not getting deep enough or if it actually saw no tech lab. But regardless, the Liberator will make its way across. A couple of Hellions will be able to deny the Ling, trying to get the rescout as well, so that's very nice. But there are many Overlords on that bottom left-hand side, so Rogue should be very well aware that this is coming.
And Rogue is making roaches right now. We have 9 in production with the Ling follow-up as well. This is not just for defense, guys. You do not need this many units to deflect Hellions, so he's going to be aggressive here. That is actually quite a lot of Hellions. He's got up to 8 or so. Now we see he's going back into Marine production, but he's got double eBay behind this. He's making 2 add-ons right now. Some Lings suddenly get hit into the natural, and there's actually nothing here right now. The Hellions forced to fall back.
Dude, so many of those SCVs are so low. If a couple more Lings just get into that mineral line a little bit later, that would be massive for Rogue, as he is going to be going heavily into that Roach Ling attack. Plenty more on the reinforcement coming as well. Maru seems to have no idea that this is coming.
Yeah, and the Liberator's not very good against this because 3 Bios will just take it out. A Banshee or something will be much better. Here come the Roaches. They will be zoned by this Liberator to begin with until the Ravagers get here. The Marines join up with them as well, and Rogue is starting to posture at the front. There are those corrosive bios, only 2 so far. There's a third one. Oh, the Liberator just survives though.
That's very critical, of course. Maru needs everything he can get, and those Liberators are very good at defending if they can stay alive. The damage output is massive for them. We'll be able to get on top of these eBays as well as Rogue, so denying the extra upgrades from Maru will be a big dent in that late game if this game actually ends up going that far. But for now, Rogue is going to continue this aggression. More Lings on the production tab as well. He doesn't want to go any further in this game. He wants to end it with this push.
Yeah, this 30's there, but he's just going to ignore it, shove into the main.
Jesus. I can't believe he actually tried that. It actually worked.
Insane. And so many Lings now in here, going to wrap around the Marines. The Roach Ravager coming in the front as well. Maru trying to hang on in this game, but his supply is plummeting. Stir stepping as much as he can. Does he have enough to hang on here? More Zerg flooding in the front. The SCVs now being tanks as well.
This is absolutely ridiculous from Rogue, just full sending it into the main base. Didn't care at all that the Hellions were going to splash down all of those Zerglings, but still is getting insane amounts of damage. He will lose everything in the main base eventually, but there's still more Lings coming in as well. We'll be able to kill off a few more of these SCVs as Maru is just making a last stand with the tiniest amount of units. He's got a few Marines, a couple Marauders. He's going to get a tank in here as well eventually. Does keep all 3 CCs alive, but will be forced onto one base. And at this point now, Rogue can look at that damage and say, yes, I can now transition out of this. It was an incredible commitment from me in the early game, but this is still a position where you can just keep on going, get a couple of extra evolution chambers, go into your drone count again, and Rogue will be able to continue on in this game.
Yeah, beautiful pressure here.
A dedicated pressure. The classic Zerg. Dedicated pressure, just a few Lings and Roaches. You know, while we're sitting
pressure
on 40 drones, just a nice dedicated pressure to let us, get safely into the late game.
And now he is set up very nicely, going up towards 60 drones, while Maru is just trying to recuperate. He does have a bit of army left, so he's going to move it across the map. So Rogue can't just drone forever for free. We'll have to make some units here. He is going to be going into the Roaches as the follow-up, getting that missile upgrade as well as Roach speed. More Roaches on the way right now. And this is not enough Lings right now. The Roaches are not ready. This base will be forced to cancel here. So nice little pickup for Maru.
Yeah, this is actually quite surprising considering the fact that we lost so much as Maru earlier on in this game, but we'll be able to deny that base a couple times, which is very good. And on the back end, he's also making a 4th base of his own. So he's trying to go for he's trying to basically get back ahead in some way, and that's by making an extra command center, just trying to get something going for him in this game, knowing if he just tries to play it normally after all of that damage, there's no way he's ever going to be able to keep up with what Rogue is going to be putting on the table here. So we'll be denying that 4th base, and then getting a 4th CC of his own is a great call to try and get back, but of course, it's a massive mountain that he's going to have to climb to get back in this game.
Yeah, indeed. These Marines will finally be forced to pick up and leave, and a very common follow-up to early Roach pressures is a kind of 3-base saturation 1-1 Roach timing, and it looks like that's exactly what Rogue is going for right now as we see him morphing in more Roaches and Ravagers. No more drones on the way right now. He has so much supply. His army supply is 50 ahead of Maru's. He may just try and bust down this 3rd base.
Yeah, I think it's a right call, of course, because you do have to cut some corners as Maru to try and get back in this game, like I was mentioning. And so a great way to capitalize on that as Rogue is to just go for a massive follow-up push. And we'll be going for that with the Roaches and Ravagers on the bottom left-hand side. Lings chasing a medevac on the top right as well, just to track exactly where those are going. But this is going to be a huge push coming in from Rogue.
Yeah, Maru's in so much trouble right now. Roaches come around to the natural. There is a tank there, which is difficult to buy out, but this one at the front, a lot more exposed. In come the Lings. A lot of units fall in. The Roach army is actually split into 2. I really like this. Take out the tank in the natural, then push in further. The medevacs forced to fly straight back to the main and help out. The SCVs are pulled, but so many are falling here.
Yeah, this is just game over. Rogue all over Maru in this first opener in the best of 7. Really nicely done by him. Great aggression, like we were saying earlier as well. The series beforehand able to bring out incredible strategies. This time bringing out a slightly different one as well, but still high octane from him. He's trying to just get in Maru's head from the beginning, make sure he can't go into his comfortable late game scenarios. And Rogue is just doing excellent in this ZVT matchup today.
He's making this Roach Ravager pressure build look really, really strong.
Yeah.
He's used it against multiple people now, and I don't think he's lost with it yet.
Tasteless was saying, man, it's time to bring out another nerf. David Gim, where are you, man?
It looks very good. I mean, maybe we need to see Terrans like start preparing for this build more, or countering it a bit more strongly, especially when you play against Rogue, because he does it so well. Like if you have, it's very difficult to deal with, and he has so many other styles he can throw at you. Awesome first game, guys.
Yeah, I'm wondering what Maru needs to do more so to react to this coming, because I feel like he just didn't have the information. Yeah. Like, he literally did not know this was coming until the Roaches were at his natural, and you saw him cancel the extra barracks, you saw him immediately lift the CC and try to get the SCVs away from there as well, so it's like, he just needs the information, and I feel like if he could at least get that information a little bit sooner, then he'd be pretty much okay. Doesn't take insane amounts of damage, but there's got to be some way that he's got to actually find that scout, because it seems like it's a bit of a difficult build to actually notice that it's coming.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate that he went for a Liberator as well. It doesn't really do anything against Ravagers. Whereas if, for example, you have 2 Banshees instead, you're going to be hitting that Roach Ravager army forever, and there's no way to really clear that out if you don't bring your Queens. So, you know, there's some things Maru can mix up. I don't think we'll see the Liberator again. Who knows, though, as we are going to be loading into map number 2 in just a second here for game number 2 between Rogue and Maru.
Yes, we're going to be going on to Missing You Today as our second map. Going to be very interesting because, of course, this map is relatively large, I would say, compared to most of the maps. It's just kind of got an interesting layout with all those spots in the middle. We've got those gigantic ramps in the middle as well, just kind of making it very strange way to engage in that spot. You got the double gold base on the top right-hand side as well. Here's that shot of those giant ramps, which you really don't see this in any maps, basically. So if any engagements happen there, it's just kind of like a weird part of the map overall. But anyways, this map has been pretty interesting. We've had some really cool games. I mean, we had Maru trying to sneak a gold base yesterday against MaxPax on this map, and it worked out pretty well. So yeah, I don't know. Very curious to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, very interestingly, Rogue has sent his first Overlord down the left side of the map, not across the map. And this could be him looking out for proxies.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, especially against the Beyond, after the Beyond series where he lost the 3 racks twice. He does not want to lose like that again. So being extra careful here, sending both his Overlords out to the common proxy locations, and only then will he send it across the map.
Yeah, Rogue definitely does not want to go down that early to those builds again, man. That was so funny to watch when he's just like, he's getting, like, because he just defends it totally fine the second time or however, whichever one it was, and then they just come in slightly later, and then he had that, Beyond had that, like, fake CC at the natural as well that wasn't actually doing anything, and then Rogue thought he was totally fine. Then he slams his desk because he's so frustrated. I would have slammed my desk, man. That was like, what a tilting way to lose the game.
Kind of genius, though. You got to give it
I
up.
absolutely
That's really
agree.
smart.
It was incredible from Beyond. Honestly, even more incredible that Rogue was able to pull that series back and is now even one series further against Maru now, too. So some great grit coming out of Rogue so far in this lower bracket.
I feel like he has some plot armor in this series of the RSL. Like, he's destined to win, man. It's like every time you think he's dead, he just does not go down.
The StarCraft gods saw how many people were balance whining on Reddit about Zerg lately. And he's like, nope, you know what? We're going to have one Zerg go really deep just so you can't have that anymore. No excuses, Zerg players.
Yeah, indeed. Nice save on the drone there. Does not go down to the Reaper. Microing back his weak Zerglings, and taking his third base is Rogue. On the other side, we see Maru doing it again, putting this CC at the front.
So strange. I wonder why he does that.
I mean, one thing is it does make a bit of a wall.
Yeah.
Like, you have a temporary wall until you send it out.
I guess because he's like, oh, nice little catch on the Reaper. Oh, nice nade as well to keep that thing from dying, so that's good. I wonder if it's also just because it's like, he just thinks Rogue is going to be so aggressive, just get that wall going as soon as possible. Could be maybe the idea from it. Less so a mind game and more just like, oh, Rogue, you could do anything. I don't want to die to it.
Yeah, or maybe he's like, I don't care if you scout this. I just want to get it there as quick as possible.
Also possible, yeah.
Interesting little details coming out from Maru. This Reaper will finally go down as speed finishes. And let's take a look at the build of Maru here. We see he's going for the starport. We've got a tech lab coming out as well. Let's see what the unit of choice is and what tech he wants to get.
Yeah, that tech lab's going to be finishing on up. That starport will likely be switching on over, so very likely going to be the Banshee. Watch him make a Raven and call me out. Okay, very nice. Not a caster moment. Excellent. So yeah, that Banshee's going to be coming with the Hellions as well, so nice and standard from Maru, just going for that 3cc Hellion Banshee play. Doesn't look like he's going for Cloak just yet, if at all, so likely will just be the cloakless cloakless Banshees. That'd be imagine if Hellions had Cloak, dude. Oh my god.
Don't go there.
That would
running
be
in my mineral lines. Invisible?
Just massive, just high-speed cloaked units, dude. Oh my god. Well, actually, you can do that with Banshee with the second upgrade, too, I guess, technically. So,
true.
Anyways, regardless, that's not going to happen. It's going to be just the Banshee and the Hellion coming on in for a little bit of light pressure, denying the creep tumors. Overlord's going to try to scout it. Let's see how much it can actually see.
Yeah, I like this choice from Maru going for the Banshees. If it is another Roach pressure, he's actually faking Cloak here, going for that Interference Matrix. Very smart. We'll cancel that. Yeah, I like what he's doing here, going for a Banshee. If it is Roach Ravager, you can be able to pick off the Ravagers very quickly. Obviously, we see that Rogue is just now taking his layer. He's still droning up. Probably have a fourth base coming in the near future here as this Banshee makes its way across the map.
I wonder how much Rogue would expect Mech to come out in this matchup. He didn't actually get the Tech Lab Scout on the barracks researching Stim, and if he got that, obviously that's a great tell. But I wonder if he's at any point expecting Maru to go into mech, because I feel like we've seen it a couple times in TVZ recently where you do actually have the mech switch coming out with this large Hellion initial push. But for now, he's not going to have that information. He might just be kind of assuming that Maru's going to be going for this, of course, as he does go for that quite often. Going for the Baneling Nest. I believe you shouldn't be going Banes against mech. That's right?
Yeah, I mean, usually it depends. If it's battle mech, you can use them to clear out Hellbats, but
Sure.
against like tank mech and Thor mech, not so much. But anyway, we do see it's going to be a Spire here coming out from Rogue, and I was saying to you in the break that I very rarely see Maru struggle against Mutalisks. Like, not that he's never lost to them, but it feels like he's so good at handling them, so I'm very curious if Rogue is able to make them work. His control was really good with them against Bjorn. So let's see how he gets on here.
Yeah, I feel like every time I think of Maru against Ling Bane, I think back to those ridiculous series that he had so long ago against He Who Shall Not Be Named. Life. They had some incredible matches that they played against each other. And honestly, just the micro with the Marines and mines and everything. I feel like Maru is just so well in tune with that type of play style. So it makes sense why he's so good at it still in this day and age. So always the most interesting matchup to watch in terms of play styles, in terms of unit compositions in this matchup, I would say. So very excited to see if the Banelings getting any crazy connections, if we have the crazy Marine split micro. So very curious to see what happens here.
Yeah, we just have now combat shield started up for Maru, and 9 Mutalisks on the way. Will they be ready in time to help with this little harassment we have going on? The Queen's going to do the job for now. Nice save on that Overseer, but there's actually a lot of Marines here. These Queens do have to be careful, as does Maru stepping onto creep.
Oh, wow.
Some good damage here from Maru, and he picks up and leaves, but now the Mutalisks are out.
Yeah, that was a decent amount of Queens to get, and the Spire actually doesn't get scouted by that scan, but he sees the Mutas, so if he was paying attention to that last second, he would have seen those coming out, and he will just see them going across the Hellions as well. So we'll get the information. The Mutas will not evade Maru's sights for now, so he will be able to prepare, and he's got his Mutas actually getting caught in the middle of the map. Maru with the Marine rally to come on in at the perfect time. We'll be able to kill an initial few, and another one getting picked off as well. This is a terrible start for Rogue.
And this looks so different to the first game against Cure, where basically the same thing was happening. Not the first game, sorry, but the same builds. But look how much more Maru has. He's kept the Hellions alive. They are now Hellbats. He has an extra tank. He has Marines intercepting these Mutas as they try to move across the map. Here comes the Ling counterattack at the natural of Maru, but there's a decent enough wall for the moment. The Lings will get in. Some SCVs will fall, but these units rally over as well. Maru will clean this up eventually, and meanwhile, he is pushing Rogue's 4th base hard.
Yeah, that base is definitely going to get killed off, but it looks like Rogue is just going to sack it for now, as he does have more on the bottom left, so he's going to just transition over there and try to make something else happen elsewhere on the map. The Mutas are on the other side as well, trying to kill off that command center, but Maru, with enough reinforcements, will be able to keep those Mutas at bay. And for now, you can see Rogue is really kind of struggling to get into a decent position compared to how he was playing it against Cure. Last time, Cure was just getting completely blown open by all of the counter harassment constantly from Rogue, whereas Maru able to take the tempo away and actually is now forcing Rogue more on the defensive for now until this moment where he is actually going to go for another big play. But again, Maru is just so on top of these army movements, is not letting Rogue get to his side of the map.
Yeah, his knowledge of where the Zerg army is at all times and being there to intercept it is second to none now. He's cleared out a lot of creep in the center, which will be really good for him once it recedes. Rogue is finally now up into the 80s, which is where you want to be. Here comes another counterattack, and Maru's army slightly out of position this time. These units will fall, getting a tank for free. That's very nice. Will he be able to get any workers here if those Lings go into the mineral line? That's what he's looking for right now. The Mutas fly away from the army, and only a few SCVs go down, and that's quite a lot of Lings.
Yeah, we'll be able to pick off some of these Marines coming out of the barracks, might even get a medevac, but no, they will boost away Thor coming out as well to help defend, as the turret will be able to kill off some of the Mutas actually with the Thor coming in as well. The repair is very good. And that is a bit of a misstep there from Rogue, I feel like, kind of losing a bit too many Mutas in this exchange. Once again, trying to pounce on this army, though the tanks unsieged will be able to get some of them with the Banelings. No, he's just going to kind of let the Lings get them. Thankfully, a couple more tank shots didn't go down. That would have been really bad if all those Banelings got killed off before they were able to make any connections. But a pretty decent catch there from Rogue, considering the fact that things were really starting to get out of control for him.
Yeah, I think catching those 3 tanks like that has actually kept him in the game here, or kept it competitive. aggressive. If Maru was able to siege those in range of a hatchery, it could have been really tough. But Maru is not stopping. Here he comes once again. Let's see the splits as all these Banes roll in. Oh, a little bit late, some good connections, but still tons of bio left. Here comes the next wave now. Oh, look at these splits from Maru. Absolutely beautiful.
That is what we want to see from Maru, man. But another reinforcement wave from Rogue from the right-hand side. We'll be able to clean this up. The Thor also going to get killed off eventually, I'd assume, as the medevacs can't actually get anywhere. So Rogue will clean this up. The Thor is somehow just juking and jiving these mutas. I don't know how. There we go. Finally, he does get killed off as well as everything else in the sky. So Rogue, despite everything, will still clean all this up. And Maru, with an initial good engagement, actually loses out a large portion of his army.
Yeah, that was amazing for Rogue. Real turnaround of events here. We see now 3-3 on the way for Maru. His upgrade slightly ahead of Rogue's. The Widowmine production has begun as well. They can be so good against Mutaling Bane if you can get those juicy shots off that you're looking for. The Widowmine upgrade as well on the way. And here's what we know Rogue for. Overseers. He's making 3 right now. We might see him go up to a huge amount later. Go for kind of mass changelings. We know he loves to play that way. But I like his position a lot now as he postures on the right side of the map.
I can't believe Rogue has managed to get this tempo back in this game, considering how poorly that initial trade went with the Mutas. Oh my god, if the Mutas actually go into the Widow Mines! Okay, very close. That was almost a catastrophe for Rogue. So nice little tricks there from Maru, trying to get any little advantage he can with these Widow Mines being placed out. And this is where things really start to go pretty crazy. If both these players start to get really active with the Marines, with the Widow Mines, and the Banes and Mutas, then things can get really crazy very quickly. But for now, it looks like they're both just going to wait until they're maxed out and then try to go for another push later.
Yeah, Maru has +3 now, just as the +2 Carapace is finishing for Rogue. So he's a full upgrade ahead for the foreseeable future. If he's able to max out and get some good trades, he might be able to just hunker down here and slowly work towards, an amazing late game army with Thors, Ghosts, that kind of thing. But he's not going to do that. We do see him moving to at least contest this base in the bottom left of the map, clearing out this creep right now.
Yeah, and Rogue's going to go for a big counterattack or flank, it looks like, as the left-hand army will be able to roll on through, try to get some of these units, but the Baneling anti-micro from the Marines are pretty good, so they're not going to really lose too much there. The army on the right-hand side still kind of sharking around. Rogue seems a little indecisive as to where exactly he wants to send this right now. He keeps trying to look like he wants to go for some counterattack, or maybe is expecting an army in the middle somewhere, as he's just kind of letting the one on the army on the left just take this position. Now eventually will actually go and respond to this. It feels like Rogue was maybe a little unsure what he wanted to do there.
Yeah, in the end, he decides he will fight down here, as we see him going now, trying to... Okay, never mind, he pulls back. Maybe going to wait for these Banelings, but they actually get found as they're morphing here. A bunch of them cancelled or killed. And Maru is not stopping with that one base. He wants to push a little bit more and go for a second. Here comes the Ling Bane, though. Rolling in.
So we'll be able to kill plenty of those units. A massive split, but still so many Banelings from Rogue in that engagement. We'll be able to force Maru back yet again. So was just buying as much time as possible. Maybe just lets the base die, but has plenty of units on the reinforcement to be able to kill it off as he's expanding to the top right-hand side as well.
Yeah, the patience there for Rogue really paying off. Took his time to find the right moment to attack. And actually clears out that army very nicely now, taking a supply lead. He has 4 Ultras on the way, Kindness plating, finally getting that +3 attack as well on the way. Going for a +1 air upgrade, air carapace upgrade at this point feels a little bit weird, but might as well round it all out, right?
Hey man, that 30-minute Broodlord switch is going to come in hot. He's going to be prepared.
I mean, you probably do have to make Corruptors at some point if they switch into Liberators, so it makes sense to get those. And now Maru's going to completely switch it up to the other side of the map. Going to pass this gold base here shortly, and will he go? It feels like such a long walk distance. The Rogue has a lot of time to counterattack here. And he's actually moving through the middle of the map right now. Yeah,
you can see him realizing this, knowing that that base wasn't even really mining anymore at the top right anyway, so he's just going to go for the counterattack on the bottom side. There is a Thor there, as well as a couple of Widow Mines, getting some nice shots there, but not enough to actually kill anything, because there's nothing else besides those Widow Mines. So we'll allow the Mutas to just go into the natural as well, kill off a lot of these units, and then the Ultra Ling counterattack also going down. We're in a semi-base trade at this point.
Yeah, indeed. So many workers falling already from Maru. 30 SCVs. These Mutalisks trading out.
Oh, where do they go?
He's losing so many of those. The Ultra's standing strong, but there are Thors and Marauders here. Can he actually clean this up still? Okay, eventually he will. Now going to take the fight at home, try and get Maru to leave. So how do things end up after all of that? We have 84 workers for Rogue and only 41 for Maru.
Dude, 47 SCVs getting killed off in that exchange is insane. Rogue going to be able to have a nice remax coming out here pretty soon as he can actually deal with this medevac bio drop. But that's all that Maru's got left on the field at this point on this side of the map. So we'll be able to kill this off. Still has a couple mutas. We'll be able to chase down the medevacs as well eventually too. So we'll kill this off. But I mean, Maru sitting here down at 47 SCVs was able to kill a lot of bases while he was going for that attack, and a Widowmine also going to get some extra drone kills. So actually not the worst situation I've ever seen Maru in, to be honest with you. I feel like he could still find a way to claw this one back because his army size is still very large and his upgrades are still very good as well.
I actually like this for Maru because Rogue has the workers, but he does not have the bases to actually get them to, to mine from. We saw that base, the third base, triangle base, going down. So now he's down to just 4 hatcheries at the moment. So he can't actually get all his workers mining as the main and natural going down. And these widow mines being such a nuisance here.
Oh, this is getting worse and worse for Rogue. He cannot clear these out. He's going to lose some more as well, as there's no Overseer to deny these. So they're just continually killing off units. Rogue is scrambling around to just find anything right now, as Maru has been the one that kind of has had the opportunity to remax a little bit better than Rogue. And his army is just so large at this point, able to march over to the bottom left-hand side. Those 2 widow mines from earlier as well, forgotten about from Rogue, and we'll be able to get a couple of decent shots and dissuade the mutas, as the rest of the army will try to react. I guess they're reacting to the mutas solely. They don't want to actually go to that bottom left-hand side because there's plenty of ultras as well just waiting.
That looks so funny, all those ultras just hanging out back there. Like, we're nothing to see here, guys. Only 6 ultras hanging out.
Please try to snipe this hatchery at low HP. I am not trying to pounce on you.
Yeah, Maru, though, is going to go the other direction. And I like it. Here comes the counterattack onto this far outside base of Maru's. It is a planetary, so he can't get rid of it. Move forward. Oh, juicy connections on some SCVs there. Gets the base. Runs away with the ultras. Nice little pick off for Rogue.
And we got double factory coming in as the transition for Maru as well, so he's going to be going into some more mech units to be able to complement this late game army. Currently supply blocked though. We'll need to make a couple more depots at this point. You don't normally say that in a 17-minute game, but he does actually need those to continue maxing out. Might just decide to lose some of his army to remax as well. That's also totally fine. As we go in for a big push from Rogue though, it's the Ultras and the Baneleys going to try to dive deep on top of all these units. Maru trying to stutter step as best as he can, but Rogue feels like he's pretty okay to defend this position for now until he gets into that later stage of those Widow Mines far back there, not expecting any more of those, and now Rogue is starting to dip in supply.
Yeah, layers and layers of Widow Mines there make it difficult to continue pushing without taking some huge hits. Maru's army is split a little bit. We have a big force down here, which splits against these Banelings. Actually running for a very long time. Will eventually get far enough away that they can clear that out. And at the same time, Maru's picking off creep, picking off overlords on this side of the map. Maru's multitasking is insane right now. And now we see a couple infestors. This is what I was waiting for. Because the Ultras are amazing, but you need something to lock that Terran army down with, so that they can get their damage output.
Yeah, if he could get some Burrowed Infestor plays going, that could be huge for him. Of course, like you were saying, it's very difficult to get those Ultralisks on top of the units. Maru's so good at pulling back, so good at microing this bio. It's what he's made his name for over the years. And it's going to be a mass Widow Mine switch coming in from Maru as well, making it as difficult as possible for Rogue to take these engagements on the terms that he wants, trying to let the splash damage rule the board at this point. So he's going to try to do that. Nice fungal initially on some of these units, but with nothing else to capitalize, that's just going to be a warning shot basically at this point. Let's see if he can actually dislodge this push.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like that.
That Widow Mine shot is ridiculous.
Picks off the Infestor there. And I was going to say, I don't like him showing the Infestor until the last moment when you actually catch the Terran army. But nonetheless, here come the Mutas, here come the Ultralists. Going to pick off quite a lot of Marauders here. They will group up with the rest of this Terran army as Maru is now trying to take the gold base.
Yeah, that is a very forward position to be taking, but honestly, I kind of like it. He's got some tempo in this game, and he's going to try to abuse that. Chasing these Mutas now to the bottom left-hand side. Rogue is just trying to distract Maru for as long as possible, get any sort of position that he can, and delay these attacks. SCV transfer would be nice to kill off, but thankfully for Maru, he does have some Marines, has a Liberator there to get those Mutas out of his face, essentially. The Ultras still alive, but a couple of them pretty low HP. I feel like if this fight happens pretty soon, it's going to be difficult for Rogue because so many of these Ultras were not able to heal up in time between the fights.
Yeah, he does have some Queens down there. Could maybe transfuse him. This Infestor almost walking into scan range. Has to be careful of the turrets as well. And look at Maru's army supply here. He's only on 49 workers, which might sound bad, but it makes your army so incredibly big. He's going to have an amazing max out push here if he does want to go for it. Right now, he's just defending this gold base. Wants to get this situated, wants to get these mines and turrets and center tower up so he can actually, hunker down here.
Yeah, the Marauders leaping forward, trying to kill off these Ultralisks. Like I said, if he's not able to heal up, these Marauders can actually just jump on them really quickly. There's nothing to support them. Ling's trying to come in for a wraparound to try and keep this army in place. We'll just be able to load up into the medevac and run away safely to his massive minefield as well over on the right-hand side, along with that planetary. This is a great staging point for Maru. That one infestor lurking around in the shadows, maybe able to get a nice fungal from behind a little bit later. We'll be able to get something there and gets a nice pack of that Marine Marauder ball. We'll be able to kill off the Thor on the left-hand side as well. So Rogue will actually dislodge Maru from this position. Wow. Not expecting to see this, as of course Rogue will continue to go down as well into the bottom right-hand side. Maru's army just suddenly evaporated. I felt like it was at 140 supply just like 30 seconds ago, and now he's barely above Rogue.
What just happened there? Rogue took out so many Widow Mines, absolutely insane. Now he's in the natural base of Maru. Here comes the rallies. Rogue looking suddenly in control. I have no idea how he managed to turn this around.
Yeah, what the? This is insane. He's just suddenly so far ahead.
Yeah, I thought they would fight over the gold base for a bit and then Maru would win, but Rogue layering the fungals, chaining them onto this bio army. A Thor does come out to help. God. Okay, he does micro that one back. The Muta's taking a lot of damage, but there's so many Mutas here in this army now. It's actually insane.
Yeah, I thought that
21.
I thought that Thor was about to just end Rogue right there with the Marines coming in as well, but there's just so many Mutas. Like you said, 21 in total, 5 Infestors on the field as well. Is going to make it very difficult for Maru to go for the deep dives with his bio. And the Mutas are going to be able to rotate over to this gold base now that everything was left defending the main, and we'll be able to kill off a decent number of SCVs. Actually, doesn't really kill too many. We'll just kind of keep them off mining for now. But still, this is getting better and better for Rogue in a game that I really thought he was going to be down and out. Maru felt like he had all the control in this late game scenario, but Rogue just completely blowing the door open.
Yeah, Maru's base is starting to begin to mine out now. And the low worker count was, a benefit to him when he was maxed. But now that he's trying to rebuild, he only has 36 SCVs. So he doesn't have maybe the income that he's looking for. Adding 4 gases right now is pretty insane. We see Rogue with the income advantage for a short time here. And will he decide to actually take out this gold base or just continue to deny these outside ones that are more easily accessible?
Yeah, this is now going to be a bit of a lull as both players are kind of testing the waters and kind of feeling out where exactly this game has landed them, because I feel like this game was just non-stop action for the last 13 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Like it was just absolutely full throttle, and now both these players kind of have to analyze exactly what their cards are. Rogue, seeming like he still feels like he has the tempo, will try to make something happen over on this bottom right-hand side, getting a decent portion of the army sectioned off. We'll be able to kill a decent amount of it. The Banelings coming on in as well. Then going in with the Mutas. Once the Marines are cleared out, we'll be able to target down that Thor on the bottom left. Oh no, actually a nice reinforcement of Marines will be able to help save that. But then that just means that the Banelings go over to the SCV line. Did Maru notice that those two burrowed?
I don't think he did. We don't have a scan, and I think he had the energy on that orbital. This gas will go down at the gold base. These Mutas continue to be a nuisance.
On a fresh drop of mules as well.
That's so nice. Clearing out all that income that Maru would have had there.
That's so critical at this point. He's got 36 SCVs and almost no mining. He needs all these mules to get this income going.
Yeah, I feel like Maru's just basically relying on some insane Widow Mine shots, or he's going to be in a lot of trouble. This Infestor might get the biggest fungal ever. Is Rogue setting up to capitalize it? The rest of the army isn't here, just the Mutalisks at the moment as they shark around, trying to pick off whatever they can. Sensor tower goes down.
I'm just waiting. I just want to see it, dude. I love that he's putting it right
in the Terran
It's
army.
literally because you can't see the animation. If he's putting it right underneath the army, he has no idea that is lurking there.
Oh, that's so insane.
He walked into the turret range. Oh, that's so sad. Dude, I wanted to see it so bad. There's another one, though.
There's another one.
Hold up. There's always a bigger fish. Let's wait up. Yeah, that's possible. So let's see if he can still get it. But it looks like Maru is going to be going to the top side of the map, and it looks like Rogue is going to go for a counterattack yet again. Just constantly being on this side of the map. Doesn't want to give Maru the chance to get anything aggressive going.
I love what he's doing. He threatens to shut down the production of Maru by getting units on it. And then when Maru's army comes back, he springs the trap with this flank he has on the left side. That is so many Widow Mines. I'm not sure if you want to go into that. All these units getting cleared out. Some fungals do go down, but does Rogue actually have enough here? The rest of the units are over. in the main, wreaking havoc. A lot of this production may go down here if Maru's not able to get back in time. Oh, and the run by with the Lings. Rogue multitasking like a god right now, dude.
This is great. I actually kind of like that engagement on the left-hand side. Since there were so many Widow Mines, there was only a few Zerglings actually in that engagement, so all of them were getting triggered on the Ling, so they didn't really do all that much. It was a lot of overkill, so a bit of a waste there, and that basically just gave Rogue all the time to ransack the natural and the main base. You can see just how insane this game has been. I can't believe that the units lost is that close after all of this. 40k basically for both players on the minerals lost. It looks like a few more for the gas as well coming in from Rogue, but overall just an absolutely ridiculous game that we're finding ourselves in. And at this point, it feels like Rogue has really regained control, and Maru is scrambling to find anything he can get. There's still an opportunity, of course, for Maru to just get this insane engagement. If he can just get the perfect engage going, maybe he can just steamroll it through, but I feel like Rogue is in full control.
Yeah, indeed. Rogue in the driver's seat right now. Here comes this Terran army onto creep. Good spread out of these mines. Rogue just going to pull the trigger immediately as the hatch goes down. The Lings take a lot of these Widow Mine shots, runs to the front, and that's it. Clears up the Terran army, and Rogue, in an insane game number 2, goes up 2-0.
I can't even believe that game, man.
What
That
a game
was
that was.
so insane. Just the different levels of where that even was at. The initial attack from Maru that felt like it was kind of breaking Rogue's back, not able to allow him to do the counterattacks from the beginning with the mutas. Then Rogue somehow catches those tanks in the middle of the map and just kind of flips the script. Suddenly is able to get a decent supply count and is able to dictate the pace again. But then Maru again coming right back with his play in the late game, and it just keeps going back and forth every single time. I literally had no idea who was winning that game until the last maybe like minute and a half.
And we had like the big reset where they both lost a ton of army.
Right, yeah.
But there were still like Widow Mines in all the mineral lines. I thought that was going to be such a difficult thing for Rogue to clear up, but he does somehow manage to clear it up. Takes his bases again. He went down to 4 hatches at one point. Remaxes, takes the best fight ever, and somehow turns the game around.
I still have no idea how he won that fight. Like,
I kind of want to see it again.
I feel like we only saw like half of it at that point, because I feel like something else happened off screen, because Maru went down like 40 army supply in 2 seconds, and it felt like we only saw like a couple of ultras and lings kill like a few bio units, but suddenly he was just killing everything. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, 145 supply Terran army should not lose that strongly to a Zerg army. But never mind that, guys. We've got some merch for you. We got some swag. Check it out at TastelessThreads.com. If you're on the Patreon, you do get a 20% discount. There's all kind of gaming merch there. T-shirts, hoodies, mugs, pins, posters, whatever else. Check it out if you're a fan of StarCraft or Tasteless or gaming in general.
Oh yeah, we're going to be going to a short little break. We're going to be going into the rest of the series after that, so don't go anywhere. More Rogue versus Maru coming up.
The drones are being pulled.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the RSL. We're continuing on this best of 7 between Maru and a Rogue. And Sturgeon, I just have one question. Can a Rogue be stopped today? Because he is looking unbelievable.
I don't think he can. He's looking so strong right now. He's taking out all kinds of different players, races, the best players in the world. This is such an amazing run that he's on right now.
He's the only Zerg that made it into the RSL playoffs plainly.
Yep.
Every other Zerg was eliminated in the group stages, and now he is 2 map wins away from being in the finals of RSL Season 4 versus MaxPax, and he's doing it against a Maru who has looked unbeatable. I mean, Maru, I don't think he even dropped a map in the playoffs until he faced off against MaxPax a couple days ago, and now Rogue is absolutely dominating. I mean, that was a long and back and forth game number 2, but Maru is the greatest late game Terran player of all time.
I feel like we're seeing Rogue back in his world championship form. The way he's moving armies around the map, the way he's choosing his builds for the sets, map specifically. I'm just so impressed with him right now, and I hope we see some more awesome games like that last one, because that's one of the best TVZs I've seen in a while.
All right, game number 3 is loaded in. Celestial Enclave will be the map. Maru spawning in the bottom left is the red Terran, Rogue the blue Zerg in the top right. And Celestial Enclave, it's a typically very macro-focused map. It's easy to take your natural expansion on the high ground. You also have a pocket base attached to your main base with a worker-only path. And Maru, I feel like this map, out of all of them in the map pool, probably plays to his strengths in this matchup the most.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. You do have that pocket base if you want to put that to use. I'm very curious what Maru will go for in this map. I mean, so far he's played quick 3CC both games, playing very macro orientated, And like you say, he is the best late-game defensive Terran, but Rogue was able to dismantle him last time, so does he now veer away from that as his kind of win con and try to get something done in the mid-game instead?
I think it's a little easier to play the late game here on Celestial Enclave, but it does make you wonder if he's going to have some kind of adjustments here versus Rogue. But that would be a dangerous change to make, because Rogue, it feels like, even though he just showed that he can go toe-to-toe with Maru in a late-game situation, his power spike, his skill spike as a player, it's in the early game, it's in the mid game. We saw that versus Cure, where he just absolutely dumpstered a CC first and a 5-rax push, which is the kind of game where the Terran player should have all the momentum, and Rogue is fighting back onto Cure's side of the map. And so I don't know if Maru's going to want to try and lean more towards the mid game or the early game versus a player as aggressive as Rogue. We're going to have to see what the decision is.
I like the way you send that SCV through the worker path there, just checking there's nothing fancy going on down there. Some Zergs will proxy a hatch or something crazy like that. We'll get it across the map, and we see on Rogue's side of things very normal here. He's got his hatch, gas, and pull down. He's oh sorry, actually he doesn't have a gas. Excuse me, he does not have a gas here.
Gasless opening here for Rogue, just kind of playing the map a little bit. You don't need it that early, especially against a Maru who, as you said, has been really favoring the fast 3cc play.
What's he going to do with this? Is he going to take another hatchery real quick?
He might. He is up at 200 minerals right now. Could also go for some faster queens for that creep spread. Maru, he's going into a factory now, following up from that command center, and the minerals are starting to pile up. I wonder if we will see the 3rd CC once more. Oh. The Reaper trying to find some damage. Well controlled by Rogue, able with just 2 Lings and a queen. Yeah, shoot that away.
And Rogue's taking the pocket base. He's taking his 3rd hatchery there before he even gets gas, so a very economic focused open here. He will go and get a gas in the near future. You do need gas at some point, but Maru just can't see that with the Reaper there.
Yeah, Maru with no confirmation just yet. He is going 3cc himself right now, also going for the pocket expansion. Building that on site will give him a little bit of an economic boost once that command center is done. And so far, it's a very slow start to game number 3. This is kind of what I expected coming into Celestial Enclave, because it is just such a macro and defensively oriented map.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes we don't see players go for these pocket bases. They are, basically half a base. You only have the 1 gas down there, but both of these guys opting to do it in this match is very interesting. Curious who it will benefit. Rogue now taking 2 gases at once. And what's going to be his unit comp this game? I feel like this often leads into kind of Roach, like a Roach build. Not that you have to. Obviously on the side of Maru, we see double eBay going down. And Stim just cancelled?
Maybe just saving that gas for the faster 1-1 upgrades instead. He is going to throw it on a barracks now onto that reactor. And from Rogue, one of the things I'm looking out for is whether he's going to start Zergling speed with his first 100 gas, or if he's just going to go straight into a lair. Oh, Hellion's actually getting the main base. Man, 3 drones lined up there on the transfer into the pocket 3rd. Now finally drone pool coming in. 3 drones in total and some scouting information. Maru should be able to glean from the path of those drones that Rogue has gone for the backdoor 3rd base. He does have the in-base 3rd hatch. And so I think Maru right now, he should be feeling very comfortable. Even the creep spread, as Mapu was pointing out, extending down there.
Yeah, that could have been much worse if not for the citizen's arrest of the drones there. Keeping the damage down to 3. This Reaper still just checking what's going on. Sees the 4th base. Timing of Robe. Gets another creep tumor. Very nice control.
Another one!
I jinxed it. I was going to say very nice control, but he does eventually lose the Reaper. Maybe at this point it's worth it to trade it out for a tumor. Probably not, but yeah, he did a good job picking off like 3 or 4 tumors there, I think. Getting a lot of scouting, so...
Yeah, I like that move there by Maru. Honestly, I think it's worth it against a player like Rogue. You're going to want to have as much map control as possible, and just slowing the spread of creep a little bit, it goes a long way towards making the mid-game a bit less painful for Terran, as Zergling speed now getting started. We did have double evolution chamber finish up here for Rogue a moment ago. He's firing up melee attack as well as Carapace, so going to be likely a very Ling-heavy composition from Rogue. And he's not too far behind on the upgrades here with Maru, but Maru did go for a very quick 1-1.
Yeah, this is basically the most economic focused build you can do for both of these players. Both of them taking the pocket base, Rogue even getting it before gas. Maru going for an insanely quick 4th CC with double eBay. Both of these guys are going to basically skip the early and mid-game action and try to really ramp up here, get this production going. As we do see Stim now almost done, as well as 1-1 for Maru. He will have an upgrade lead for a short period here.
Yeah, with the one exception of the Hellion run by and the Reaper sniping tumors, it almost feels like a no-rush 10-minute map.
Right, yeah, seriously, dude.
Rogue right now, we're at 5 minutes and 50 seconds in. He is at 72 drones. And I think I remember watching with Tasteless while you and Gemini were casting that Rogue, like 17, 18 minutes into the previous game, was still around 60-something drones. He wasn't max, and he was still pumping links because he wanted to bring the fight. He has already eclipsed the economy of the previous game in the early stages here on Celestial Enclave. As finally for Maru, some timings are finishing up. He has Stim now. 1-1 is done. The first 2 medevacs are on the field, and it's time for him to get aggressive.
Yeah, indeed. We see these medevacs coming over. I love the Rogue's going for Burrow. I feel like his burrowed lings are so good. These medevacs will see the Queen and the Spore Crawler making there at the front. Very nice position on that to dissuade these medevacs from going into that pocket base. And yeah, Rogue can start burrowing lings at expansions. If he gets them into a mineral line, it's going to take a scan. These Marines will be forced to pick up here as the Ling and Bane comes over.
And no Spire this time here for Rogue, so those medevacs are nice and safe to maneuver around the map without any fear of being trapped by the Zerg player. As Rogue's going to be going into a relatively quick infestation pit. Now, this isn't the fastest possible hive timing, should he be going for that hive, but it still is relatively quick.
Yeah, indeed. Probably going to be going into somewhat quick Ultralisks here. Maybe add some Infestors in. You can get a big fungal on the army, lock it down, and then get the Ultraling Bane on top of them. These medevacs continue to be annoying. Rogue expanding to the top left base as well. 2-2 on the way for him. Balin speed just finishing now. And we do have some burrowed landmines scattered around here.
Yeah, a couple pairs of Banelings spread across the map right now in front of the 3rd and 4th base of Maru. Some just in the middle of the field as well there, as the Rogue's just kind of predicting where Maru will take his army later on in this game. And the hive gets fired up. 2-2 upgrade is going to be finishing for Maru in just a moment. 2-2 about a quarter of the way done right now for Rogue as Maru continues to be annoying, just trying to control the creep spread. And with how much focus Maru has put on denying and slowing the creep spread, I must say, look at that mini-map. It is fantastic for Rogue. He is starting to cross the midpoint of this map.
Yeah, down the middle is so far spread already. We'd like to see a little bit more on the right side, as there is a big kind of gap there where Maru might be able to push later. Here comes some Banelings trying to roll in onto these SCVs. Will connect, but not enough damage to kill them. So a lot of hurt SCVs here, but no kills.
Yeah, no kills just yet. Might be a target for Rogue later on with the Zergling run by. He's been very aggressive. Oh man, that scan just barely missing these 2 Baneling landmines. There is another one here. Could be able to catch 8 to 10 Marines. Are we going to pop it? Indeed we will.
Beautiful pick off there with the landmines from Rogue. The Rogue is playing so good today. The Widowmine falls. A bunch of these Marines forced to pick up. Some of them die. Nice win there for Rogue.
Yeah, Hive is done now too, so we're starting Adrenal Glands. Ultralisk Cavern also getting thrown down. More Lings in production here for Rogue. He's sending 82 drones, and he has significantly more army supply than Maru, and he's making 7 drop Overlords right now. So with Adrenal Glands, I think we have some static defense, some turrets for Maru, just looking at the mini-map. I'm not sure he's going to have enough to deal with 7 drop Overlords. And Adrenal Lings are such a nuisance should they get into your main base.
Especially with Burrow.
Oh, yeah.
He'll spread them out. You'll need more than one scan to deal with them. It's going to be very tough if those do get into a mineral line. But Maru right now, posturing out on the map. He has 3-3 on the way, making 3 mines at once. Here comes this drop.
Oh, it's a
empty.
fake.
Wow. Rogue's so sick. He fakes the 7 Drop-a-Lord drop in the pocket base. Meanwhile, he shoves the front with all this Ling Bane. Maru's army out of position. The tanks start to fall. So Widowmines on the high ground. Got to be careful with all these Banelings. Some big shots, but so many workers going down here for Maru as these Banelings do get cleared up. 27 SCVs in the end state.
The entire 4th base gets eliminated there in terms of workers and static defense. Supply Depot's also taken out. Some production loss for Maru in the natural expansion as Rogue just sends those 7 drop Overlords into Maru to prompt a reaction, or ideally an overreaction. Maru, he only brought 2 medevacs back to try and snipe them, and he maneuvered very well, making sure that if they were full of units, he would be able to intercept them before the drops. But still, the distraction, it did work there for Rogue, was able to get a lot done, even burrowing 1 Ling right now for Vision. Oh, you love to see it from Rogue.
Yeah, the question is, did he throw away too many units to get the eco damage? We'll have to see, as this Terran army is quite large right now, trying to take out the rocks over on Maru's side of the map as well. For another counterattack is Rogue. And this Bioforce on creep has to be very careful. You do not want to get surrounded here.
Maru would love to get this this creep under control a little bit. With one more scan, he should be able to eliminate the last active tumor in this area of the map, as the Lings are going to force another liftoff, and then Rogue just immediately dropping more tumors. Really wants to retain his vision and movement speed, and it's looking very good right now for Rogue. Maru, he's trying to establish a 5th base. He's pivoting from this more triangle expansion right now to instead go towards the bottom right, I think.
I love this single Ling he has burrowed here. He actually gives him a lot of information.
It's a lot of information. He's actually going to spot the command center flying into the bottom right, so he will know that Maru is abandoning the plan
That's crazy.
of expanding in a more nested fashion in the bottom left corner of the map. And Maru, you can see one of the weaknesses of this build here for Rogue, though, is the medevac drops have just been never-ending. Rogue's been doing a very good job of putting out these fires with the Lings everywhere, but it's such a nuisance.
Yeah, indeed. This medevac will finally go down, as well as the Marines inside. A Bane and Run-By is spotted by the CC floating over here, so Maru has time to react to this. The tank is sieged. There's Bio here. He's got to run the SCVs, though. Okay, they will get away, as that Baneling is slowed by the Marauder. Viper's now out for Rogue and collecting energy. Oh, but Maru's might have found them here.
Oh, he finds the Vipers, actually dropping just a handful of Marines. Oh, if these medevacs had a couple more, he might have been able to snipe 1 or 2 of those Vipers instead. Medevac gonna have to escape with just a sliver of HP left. Oh man, he would really love to do it. This hatchery's also very low on HP because it's getting consumed!
The Vipers are helping him out!
No. You're kidding me! 3 Marines and a Marauder able to snipe the hatchery because the hatchery's consumed by Rogue,
team effort
low on
there.
HP.
By the Vipers and the Bio.
Oh man, that's a bit painful here for Rogue. He does have another expansion finishing up in just a moment, I think, towards the 9 o'clock position that he can start saturating, so it's not the end of the world, but obviously not the best situation for Rogue, losing the hatchery in the top left corner.
This one Ultralist trying to take out these rocks here, that's so funny. Will just get sniped by the Ghost, but does clear the pathway. That could actually be very important later on if a Ling Run-By gets in there, but never mind that. Here comes the Zerg army down to the bottom right, and Maru is moving his over to meet it.
Yeah, should Rogue decide to commit, he has more than enough to clean up this position, even just able to dispatch that command center with just the Adrenal Lings with +3 melee attack. He's now going to go for the surround right now. No pickup just yet here from Maru. Bio trying to escape with their lives.
Yeah, indeed. More units coming over for Maru as he sets up at this base down here. There's quite a choke point there, would be very difficult to attack into as the Zerg, but Rogue is happy picking off a base, remaxing again, looking for a better attack angle. Look at the units lost here. Very, very one-sided.
Yeah, Rogue has been throwing a lot of armies at Maru, and he's been doing a very good job of slowing the income of Terran. This is why, despite the units lost tab being so in favor of Maru, it's actually Rogue who is maxed with a significant bank right now because he has the bigger eco. He has been spending his army on trading out for Maru's economy. But should we go to an endgame where we are fully split map here on Celestial and Maru is able to make sure that both players have the equal numbers of bases mined on their sides of the map, that's going to favor Terran. And it almost seems like with all the additional command centers coming in, with upgrades like Neosteel plating coming in right now for Maru, that's kind of where this game is going to go. And so for Rogue, I would love to see him start throwing down hatcheries, say, towards the bottom right corner, just to try and suck a couple of those minerals away from Maru, because eventually Terran will get them.
Yeah, indeed. And here comes the big Ultralisk attack, showing themselves for the first time, clearing out all these mines. Nice blinding cloud on these tanks. They won't get any shots off at all. The CC forced to lift here. We do have Corruptors on the field for Maru now, so he can go to work on that. This is quite a lot of Marauders, though, can kite these units very well here. And I'm not sure if he'll actually be able to get this CC or not. It doesn't look like it, as the Ghosts come over to help out Maru as well.
I mean, even if Rogue's able to take down a command center, there's so many more waiting for Maru. We have a lot of orbitals on the map right now. A couple of Marines are going to be a bit of a skirmish over here in the top left side. Rogue taking additional expansions, and he is now expanding into the bottom right side. That's going to be a very difficult position for Rogue to hold long term. But I think the more important thing is that he just starts to siphon those resources away from a future Maru, because Rogue, he does seem dead set on trying to knock Maru out of this game right now if he can with the attacks that he's going for. But Maru is one of the most resilient Terran players in the game today.
Yeah, indeed. Rogue's taking a lot of these forward bases. Like you say, you want to take any minerals away from Maru's side of the map as early as you can. So even if he gets those bases, those positions later, he's not able to get as many minerals as he would be able to. With those mule drops, once you get up to an insane amount of orbitals, you know how it is in the late game. 13 Ghosts on the field right now. They're going to trade out very well against the Zerg Hive units. We see Maru posturing on the edge of creep. Another Zergling run by in the bottom right, and Maru just can't establish this position.
If he canceled the planetary in time, could have lifted off. Instead, it will get taken out by these +3 Adrenalings.
Yeah, Maru's been on 5 bases for quite a while. He has a lot of CCs, but he can't land one anywhere, it feels like.
All right, another attack coming in right now. Ultra should be able to deal with this number of Marauders as Rogue is pushing into this expansion. Maru, he's struggling to secure a foothold on the map, whether it be the bottom right side or this triangle expansion right here, as another planetary might be going down. Okay, enough goes coming in. That is so many snipes.
That is a ridiculous amount of snipes and ghosts, and this is really the backbone of the Terran army in the late game, and until you kill the ghost, the Terran is never dead. There's always a chance.
Yeah, and Rogue's army has been doing a better job of denying these expansions than you would typically see a Zerg player do, because he's been playing this on a very low drone count. Oftentimes you'll see a player like Raynor, for example, might go to 90+ drones when you're doing this kind of style where you're constantly trading armies with a Terran player, and he'll have a healthier economy because of it. But Rogue just has a little bit more army supply, and you can see that starting to pay off.
Yeah, indeed. Maru will find this one hatchery down here as the drones evacuate. That's a nice pick-off. On the other side of the map, going for a Ling run by, picking off some tanks in the mineral line. More tanks exposed here, but the ghosts come to help out. I'm not sure if these trades, like who they're favoring. There's a lot of SCVs going down. These Marauders fall back to the tanks here. That Viper takes a big Widowmine shot, but will survive. Here come the blinding clouds, and we have just got non-stop action here in this game now.
15 more SCVs go down at the 6 o'clock expansion. More Ultras and Lings coming in as Maru's really getting taxed, and that is a ton of ghosts coming in. Almost feels like we have more ghosts than Marines and Marauders at times. Maru's been doing such a good job of retaining his ghost count. And I must say, if Rogue is somehow able to isolate and clean up these ghosts, the game is straight up over. So Maru, everything that he can do to keep the ghost count alive, that's kind of his ace card here. It's the one thing that he really has going for him in terms of army composition. But look at that. 37 Banelings morphing in. Rogue just spent the majority of his bank. He's down to 700 minerals right now. He's investing everything in a one-punch army to try and knock Maru out.
Yeah, indeed, but Maru's actually being aggressive as well. We see him making nukes on the back of this. He'll be able to harass some bases with those if he's able to, as Rogue is going to pull the trigger. So many Overseers at the front to tank these Widowmine shots. Maru forced to retreat here. Ling's at the other base as well. All the snipes going down on the Ultralisk. What a massacre. There's still more Zerg left, though, as the Banelings do get some connections, trying to get on top of these ghosts, but they're not quite quick enough.
Yeah, the Banelings just chasing the cloaked ghosts right now. Good splits coming in from Maru. Nearly every single ghost, if not every single ghost, is going to survive, and that was a coup of value for the Terran player. And keep in mind, Rogue, he's playing this on 77 drones. He doesn't have that huge economy. It's going to be a bit of a struggle for him now to get back to a max supply. And Maru, he retained the most important part of his army.
Yeah, indeed. And Rogue had a big bank. He had like 2.5k at one point, but he's burned all the way through that. Here comes the first nuke of the game.
Oh, no. I don't think Rogue has seen this. Rogue, a lot of his army is right here.
When he finds it, but it still drops. Only 4 drones going down and the HP on the hatchery. That was a close call.
It was a scary moment. With his Banelings parked over there, I was wondering whether he actually knew there was a nuke being called in at that expansion. In the end, just 1 queen and 4 drones are going to fall, so good crisis management here by Rogue. Re-expanding now to the 3 o'clock position. And Maru's just getting so much damage done. 2 more hatcheries are about to drop. And look at the army supplies. It's double in the advantage of Maru, and a lot of that is still in these ghosts.
Yeah, indeed. And Rogue just, in the way Maru couldn't get established in the bottom right, Rogue can't seem to hang on to these hatcheries on the left side of the map. 2 more going to go down here, as this one is in the red HP already. Some Widowmines coming over, and Rogue just doesn't have the army to
What
to
is
find
this change? 17 Swarm hosts get started for Rogue. I saw him get max supply, and I'm like, wait, what just happened? How do you possibly afford a max supply army, given the way your economy was a moment ago? Well, 17 Swarm hosts is how you do it. I don't think I've ever seen a Swarm host transition like this versus Bio in the late game. This is something you might see versus Mech in the late game. Let's see how this works for Rogue.
Yeah, you normally get them early and try and get value over time as you use more and more waves. Rogue pulling them out almost at what feels like the end of the game here. Almost like a desperation move. It's going to be a Nidus network going down with this as well. If he's able to get some big Locust waves in the bases of Maru, especially if there's planetaries there undefended. But the Widowmine spots them all.
Well, that's a lot of Locusts now going towards the planetary fortresses here in the bottom left side. The Locusts will do a very good job of cleaning up the siege tanks and the Widowmines if they have detection there with the Overseers, but this army for Rogue, you send a Locust out, and that's kind of where you're committed. The Swarm hosts themselves are defenseless. So if Maru could just continue to attack in multiple locations at once, that is something that Rogue will really struggle to deal with his composition, and he is doubling down. Even more Swarm Hosts have finished. I think he's now up to almost 24 Swarm Hosts in total. And Maru is just still getting damage done. Yeah, look at that, 18 Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, that is a lot of Swarm Hosts. But if Maru's able to jump on them before they can fire, that could be insanely good for him. One will fall here. Another one goes down, and these are expensive, both in resources and supply. He's just not... I feel like the first wave didn't do enough.
It didn't do very much, but one thing that this has done for Rogue is that it's buying him a little bit of time. You notice he's maxed now with a bank, where we were talking a few minutes ago about how he would struggle to reach the max supply. And Maru, he has been able to snipe 2 hatcheries in this time, but the Swarm Hosts are a little bit of a curveball here. And I think it's throwing Maru for a loop. He's slowing down a little bit. Even Ling's catching him out of position right now, as Maru's trying to secure an expansion in the top left side. Ghost Academy also getting rebuilt. Maybe even more nukes are going to be on the field. And look at this, a Nidus network in the main base. Rogue is just an agent of chaos,
Rogue
Sturgeon.
is a genius. I can't believe he might find a way to pull this game back. There was a moment there where there was so many ghosts remaining and Rogue's supply was falling. I thought he was, you know, on the way to being dead, but somehow bringing this game back to life, keeping it interesting. Maru only on 53 workers right now. He does have a ton of orbitals, obviously, and CCs, but will these Swarm Hosts be the answer he's looking for? I feel like he's been long-distance mining here forever.
Yeah, Maru just keeps sniping this hatchery. Every time it's like 75, 90% complete. We're going to come in again. Oh, those ghosts quite far forward. Failing to get some connections. 2 ghosts, 3 ghosts, 4 ghosts all go down. It is Sesame Street here. And Roxon come in again with a Swarm Host, taking out another expansion. That's going to be another force lift. More siege tanks potentially being taken out.
Yeah, these Swarm Hosts getting some damage at least. They've got to pay for themselves many times over to be worth. This Nidus in the main is keeping Maru busy. Does he actually have anything going over there right now?
He needs to send army back because there's very little production here for Maru. It's 4 ghosts and 2 siege tanks because his mineral income is down to about 1,300, 1,400 minerals per minute. It's these units that are needed to try and reinforce right now. It's ghosts and siege tanks, which are not what you want to clean up a bunch of Lings, because there's detection too. The Overseer is there to spot for the Nidus network. So 4 ghosts just got cleaned up in the main base here of Maru.
That's insane. You try and kill the ghosts all game, and then suddenly there's a couple Lings. You manage to do it in the main base. And another wave of Swarm Hosts coming down here, and this game is really wild right now. I'm not sure who's going to win this. We have Hellbats being made, +3 weapons, more Swarm Hosts being added. This game is insane.
11 hatcheries have fallen so far for Rogue, but he just keeps re-expanding once more, re-expanding on the bottom right side. And you look at the minimap, a lot of the expansions of Rogue have basically no minerals left. He needs expansions like this one. That's why there's so many drones already saturating it and distance mining from it. Because the mineral income, right now, it might be okay for Rogue. In a moment, it's going to be very poor. And with Maru still leading an army supply, especially against a Zerg army that has Swarm Hosts with very little gas remaining to remax, it is potentially a problem here for Rogue, despite how good this late game is looking.
Indeed. Another wave comes in. We'll get cleared up. And I like that Maru's adding so many Hellbats into this army. They will absolutely shred all of the locusts that the Swarm Hosts fire. 1 lone SCV, long distance miner. This is such a weird base setup here.
Yeah, the other command center is like parked to the north of the Vespine Geyser for the 3 SCVs there. It has been a chaotic game, and you can see it just in the infrastructure in the main base and the expansions here at Maru. Another Nidus network coming in, the pocket expansion here, the natural expansion. I'm not sure if that has been spotted just yet. And the snipes coming in. Man, Swarm Hosts are tanky. I don't really see ghost sniping Swarm Hosts very often. I kind of assumed it would be a one-shot, but...
Yeah, they just survived their very low HP, but they... And once again, we have another Nidus in the pocket base. The Ghost Academy are going to fall here. This CC will be forced to lift, and if he can get that in the main as well, that could be very good for Rogue if units don't come back from Maru. Right now, there's a lot at the front dealing with these Swarm Hosts. And what are we seeing right now? Is this like a change in the meta where you switch into Swarm Hosts at some point against Bio?
I mean, Rogue himself is just a living change in the meta right now in the RSL. He's the only Zerg surviving in the entire playoffs, and now he is 2 map wins away from going up against Max Packs, and he's doing it in such unconventional ways. The Swarm Host, I was skeptical. He still has 19. He is still making them work, but Maru, he's fighting back. Another hatchery gets taken down. This is going to severely cripple the mineral income of Rogue. I'm still worried about the remax. These plays, they are awesome here for Rogue, but with 2,000 minerals and basically nil gas, he kind of has to work with what he's got.
Yes, indeed. A lot of Lings will be able to be made. The Swarm Hosts coming again. They're going to get some more tanks here, which is very nice. If you can trade out gas units for your Locust, that's awesome. This planetary will go down as well. This wave was very effective here.
Another command center taken out. Maru is trying to drop a bunch of mules over by the 10 o'clock position of that expansion. As Rogue, I think his highest mining base is this one on screen right there with 10 drones mining at full saturation. Ling, Bailing, and Ultra now coming into the center of the map. It's a bit of a choke point here. Maru, will he be able to retreat with all these ghosts? The Bailing's not quite finding the connection, and that's the only Zerg unit that can really chase those ghosts down.
He gets a tank there. I'm curious where the swarm hosts are while this is going on, because it's usually a 1-2 punch.
There's so many of them, you can just see them on the mini-map.
Oh yeah, they're all the way back here. That's so funny. It would have been really nice if he could have sent those into a Terran base at the same time. Now they do move over. Maru having this 10 o'clock base is problematic for Rogue. I feel like he needs to reclaim this area.
Look at that income advantage. 2,700 income advantage for Maru right now, and it's all the mules here in this expansion. Rogue is eventually going to be able to take this out. I think with the surround right now on the Locust, yeah, there isn't enough surface area to repair there for Maru.
Yeah, that's a lot of wasted mules as well.
No, I wouldn't say so. They spent about 90% of their life already mining the minerals.
They just missed like a trip or two at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe just the one trip.
I think it's a good play for Maru. I mean, this is one of the benefits that you have here as Terran is you have so many orbital commands. You drop down the mules and the income comes in one big burst. We see Maru is really struggling for resources. Now he has a 2,000 mineral bank. And this is one of the dangers for Rogue, is you have to be so on top of denying these extra expansions for Maru if you really want to starve him out. But Maru, he's been so tenacious. It is so hard to eliminate him from a game like this one.
And now the Locusts have to be used defensively as Maru is pushing all the way onto creep here. The Zerglings will come up. Maru doesn't want to engage into the Locust, but might be forced to here as the tanks are sieged in this location. Alderling Bane coming in, Blinding Cloud goes down as well. Doesn't look bad for Rogue, but I think Maru's just coming out too far ahead of this. The supply too strong. He has so much army remaining, and that might just be the beginning of the end here for Rogue, as he's gone through all of his bank.
He's gone through his bank. There's no minerals remaining. There's very little gas remaining. He's adding in some more corruptors right now to try to deal with it, but I think he realizes the effort is futile. And I must say, that was a brilliantly played game by Rogue. And the fact that Maru was still able to fight back and win game number 3,
yeah,
this is going to be an epic series, Sturgeon. I mean, it is already incredible, epic, and we have so many more games left.
What an insane game. Like, both going for a very macro-focused builds, you know, with the pocket bases first, then quick fourth bases. Then we max out, then we have ghosts. Then we have a swarm host switch that just completely flips the game on its head. Now as Maru, you're defending Nidus's swarm host. But he rode it all out and eventually just able to max out and push across the map. What a game by both players.
It's one of the reasons why Celestial Enclave is really just the Maru map in this pool. It is so difficult to knock him out. And you see the plays that Rogue was making. He sniped a ton of command centers. He kept Maru, his economy really throttled on just a couple of bases, on a couple of mineral patches for the longest time. But Maru just doesn't die. He simply does not die in these late game scenarios, despite the curveballs that Rogue was throwing at him, like the Swarm Host transition. One thing that he did so well was, I think we had maybe just a handful of ghosts get taken out the entire game.
Yeah, by the Lings in the main.
By the Lings in the main. We even had, in that last engagement, when Rogue was fighting in, obviously Maru won that fight. It was the fight that secured his victory, but Rogue was still microing his heart out. He came in at an awkward angle with the Swarm Host Locust to try and surround and snipe the ghosts. I think he got at least 1 or 2 of them with the Locusts. Brilliant play on both sides, but man, Maru a little bit too strong on Celestial Enclave. We're going to move in to the next map now. Rogue leading this best of 7 series 2-1, but Maru making a strong statement on Celestial. Will he be able to play the same defensive game on this next map? Let's find out.
Well, we are watching some very high-level TVZ right now.
Oh, it's Mothership.
And it's going to be Mothership. Both these guys playing out their minds. Very curious to see what this map brings. There's so many bases on this map. If we have something similar, the amount of bases each player could take would be out of this world.
The amount of potential expansions is huge, but I'm not sure Maru will be able to expand as safely as he did on Celestial Enclave. The expansions on Mothership, they are so open. There are so many different attack paths. Honestly, I have to give just the map a little bit of an edge here to Rogue, because it's hard to play the same safe, nested game that Maru did in the previous map, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually really like this map for Mutalisk. There's so much airspace.
Gas.
As we see a gas
pool.
Oh yeah, gonna go for a gas pool here. Be able to get his Zergling speed very quickly. And then maybe he's gonna run around the Reaper, try and pick off the SCV making the CC.
Yeah, I wonder what this is going to be. Eventually, we will have the hatchery come down to the natural expansion, but it's a very aggressive opening here for Rogue. It could be fast ling speed, as you said. It could be lings and banelings. It could be roaches. I think it's almost definitely going to be some kind of early game aggression here for Rogue. And I wonder how much he is going to commit to the pressure, because Rogue has already proven versus Cure, versus Maru, versus basically everybody that he's played in this RSL, he is not afraid of pulling the trigger and just going for the throat right from the onset.
Absolutely. He has been all in quite a lot of his series, in multiple games in some cases. Right now we do see it's just 4 lings on the way. As he comes up to 100 gas, probably going to go for that speed. I would imagine he's going to pull out of gas here once he gets the ling speed. Although he's continuing to mine it for the moment.
I think just maybe 1 or 2 drones right now on the Vespene Geyser. We'll see exactly how much income is coming in.
Yeah, but you don't take this gas for this
still
long.
3.
If you're not going to do something with it, you don't take this gas for this long. I'm expecting like a roach warren or something here. This is a lot of gas to take after Zerglin speed is already on the way.
With another queen started, it can't even be something like a really fast lair, I think, unless we throw it down to the natural expansion. I'm not sure what to make of this, but I imagine it's going to be something very tricky to take down Maru. He's going to come in with the scout right now. If he clicks on the Vespene Geyser, he's going to see the spawning pool wriggling. He can click on the Vespene Geyser and confirm there's only 2,026 gas remaining. And there, immediately, a bunker thrown down by Maru.
Yeah, Maru sniffs out the danger here. Making the bunker home. Rogue making a couple more drones here, a couple lings. I'm kind of curious what this gas is going to be put towards, as he is making lings at the moment. They will chase these Marines away. Might be able to take out the SCV, making the bunker. Going to try and get on the Marines, but nice micro here from Maru, and it's going to be a layer.
Yeah, lair coming in now for Rogue.
At 3 minutes.
This is a very interesting build from Rogue. I cannot wait to see where he's going to go with this. I think in some of the games versus Cure, he went lair first before zergling speed into a Roach Warren and basically did a Roach Max. It was almost Stefano-esque the way that he played it out. But we actually have Overlord speed getting researched here.
Wow, Rogue is cooking something up for us here, guys. I can't wait to see him try and pull this off. It's going to be awesome. He's actually... starting to make lings now, so it's probably going to be a ling drop here. You have a nice angle if you go behind the natural into the main. We'll have to see what base he wants to hit. And Maru's must be wondering what is going on in this game.
I mean, we could see everything, and we're also wondering a little bit what's going to go on in this game. Is Rogue finally able to get a little bit of a surround right here on this Reaper? Will he actually be able to take it down? He does not want Maru to see more lings reinforcing. He does not want to see him the lack of a third hatchery, does not want to let him into the main base. Finally, that Reaper does get taken out, as 3 drop Overlords are morphing now for Rogue, and I think it's just going to be a gigantic ling drop in the main.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of lings dropped in here. We have 4 on the way already. We saw 2 at home. Where are the other 2 that are being made? There's going to be Queens brought with this as well to deal with any air units that may be available.
Is this every Overlord that Rogue has right now? I feel like it basically is. We have more gas being saved, and I think the only reason it hasn't been spent is because we're waiting for these extra Overlords at home to finish.
Right, yeah. They're just rallying out now. Maybe put to use. This is such a cool build. So many lings being rallied out here. Loaded up in the Overlords. Maru has a bunker at the front. The Hellions might spot this.
Oh, he sees it. Maru sees it. Hellions are going back home right now. This is a 3cc double engineering bay build for Maru. He's going to throw down the armory that will allow these Hellbats to eventually Hellions to eventually transform into Hellbats, but will they even survive until that point? The Ling drop, the Queens, they are all coming right now into the natural expansion. Ling's get a full surround on the bunker. It is taken out. Ling's even dropping into the main base on the ramp.
There's so many lings, and it's just GG. Rogue with the layer ling drop.
Look at that grid from Maru. Rogue just a little bit too tricky, able to take out Maru with a cheeky build. And now, match point. 3-1 lead in this best of 7 here for Rogue.
What a change of pace from Rogue. From a really drawn-out late game, grind-type game on Celestial. Just, I'm going to go hatch pool and then drop every single ling and queen I have in your base, and you can try and deal with that.
I mean, you know that Mothership is going to be a more aggressive map. There are just so many different attack paths that you can go for, but I wasn't quite expecting it to come that early. And the thing is that we can see everything that's happening, right? It wasn't until we saw Overlord Speed that we got a good picture of what was going on, because Rogue has shown such a diverse array of even timing attacks and all-ins over the course of this entire tournament that it's very hard to piece together what he is going for and what the exact proper response should be, even if you have most of the pieces of the puzzle.
You literally can't read what this guy's going to do. He's like the Turkish ice cream guy, you know? Like, you think you're finally going to get it? Like, what he's doing is like, nope, whoop, whoop, whoop. You have had no idea whatsoever. He's played so many builds.
I love that analogy. That's perfect. Yeah, he is a Turkish ice cream guy, man. He is crafty. And let me tell you, that ice cream, it is so sweet because this has been some awesome StarCraft 2 action. And folks, if you want to support the RSL, the best way you can do it is to join us in our growing community on Patreon, patreon.com/ReviveSC2. This literally would not be possible without your support. There are a ton of different tiers available. We have tiers where you get replay packs, you get voting privileges on the map pool, you get voting privileges on the players invited into every season. And even if you don't want to give any money, you can join for free and just get news on the RSL, help get the word out there. It's an awesome thing to do.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone who's done so far. You can also get a chance to win a poster.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's a raffle happening, so make sure you check it out. Anyway, folks, we're going to take a very short break before we have the conclusion here between Maru and Rogue. We will be right back.
What's up, guys? Tasteless here. I am going to be showing you the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game again, and this time we're going to be unboxing it. So let's get started. This thing is massive. All right. Oh my God, okay. So much is in here, this is crazy. I believe these are crystals from the ground, as well as some kind of shots, I think, from Terran Marines here. These are little crosses here for the medics. Some plating here, it looks like, for Marines and Marauders. And then we go into all purple here, and I assume all these purple ones are different build outs for different Zerg units. I think it's each one is a Zergling here. This has got to be the Queen? No, this could be Sarah Kerrigan. Okay, so now these are all the Terran parts, and you can see just how much detail goes into each little piece. Like, they keep it really true to Blizzard artwork for how the game looks. It looks basically identical to what you see in the cutscenes and in the cinematics. A lot of love went into this. So this terrain is actually supposed to be from Lost Temple. So if you played any of StarCraft 1 or 2 from the early days, Lost Temple was kind of the map. This is what it comes with. This is the tile set. This is Lost Temple, the map. So it comes with a die here, the playing cards that allow you to play the game. Ruler, so you can measure how many spaces a unit can move or the distance it can attack at. The markers that you would use when you're actually playing the game to catalog events that are happening in various turns. It does come with the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game booklet, which is basically going to be an instruction manual. And last, but certainly not least, rules and references here. So this is everything. All of this comes with the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game 2-player starter set. It is honestly way more than I even expected. I knew when I looked at the figurines on the back there was going to be a lot in here, but it's crazy. So if you buy this, you're going to have a lot of work ahead of you, a lot of fun, a lot of assembling, a lot of painting, and then obviously a lot of games to play. Coming up next, we are going to start our first miniatures painting.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the RSL. It has been an insane series here, and kind of an insane whole finals day here. Rogue is tearing through the lower bracket here, and in some sense looking unstoppable.
He might just do it, man. He might just go all the way in the perfect storyline, basically coming all the way from the first round of the lower bracket. He lost his first playoff match, got kicked down to the lowers, and he's been on this tear through the lower bracket the entire day, the last couple weeks as well. It's just absolutely crazy that he might actually go to the grand finals.
You know, it's funny because obviously there's been a lot of controversy right now in the current iteration of StarCraft 2. People saying Protoss is too strong and that Zerg maybe is not viable. Now, Rogue had been gone for a while. All the Koreans, they have to do their compulsory military service out here. That takes about 2 years. You're not allowed to be a pro gamer during that period of time. Rogue is back, and Rogue is showing he knows how to win.
Yeah, man. It feels like he's someone that just can always come back and just play just insane games. He just always is so good at coming up with these ridiculous strategies that despite the meta being, you know, one way or the other, he can always come out with some stuff that just kind of sweeps people off their feet, and he has been doing a great job of that today in the ZVT matchup particularly. And Old Republic is going to be our next map here. Can Rogue close this one out 4-1?
Yeah. Now, I mean, if anybody could come back in a series this big, it would be Maru, right? But, I mean, Rogue is really showing such a deep understanding of how to navigate, what are pretty complicated matchups that he's in right now. And you got to think, too, some of these players probably come into a tournament like this not even really thinking about Zerg that much at all, right? Even other Zerg players are not even facing off against each other.
Another one?
Another one?
It's like the Spider-Man meme. They're just like
Exactly.
pointing to each other, like, whoa!
I thought we were extinct. So here Rogue is, and he's playing a lot of different games, a lot of really crafty, all-ins and timings, a lot of fantastic, late, drawn-out, dramatic macro games. And the winner of this best of 5, whoever it is, will be going up to face off against Max Pax, which should be a fantastic finals. Max Pax looking extremely strong. But first, we got to see who takes us here now. And I'll tell you, Gemini, I did not think we would possibly have a ZVP finals here.
No, I absolutely did not. I was not really expecting Rogue to be going on this tear. And I mean, it would be definitely interesting because I feel like Rogue had some interesting PVZs as well earlier on in the tournament, and going against a player like Max Pax, who I feel like they don't really play versus each other very often in general. I believe they did play each other in the group stage. I could be mistaken. I think they did actually play against each other. But regardless, it will just be very interesting to see how they match up. But of course, we're not quite there yet. Maru still has a chance to bring this back. It would be crazy to throw it all the way into game number 7 after being down 3-1, but we'll see if he can actually claw this one back, because obviously Maru is someone that we know that has done this before and can absolutely put it up with the best of them.
Yeah, but it's going to be tough. So we have the drone ready to make the hatchery here. Now he's just shy. Okay, I was going to say, he needs to turn that into an extract. Oh, the block! Oh!
That was sick. Oh my god,
Nastiness.
Maru.
That was so good.
That was so nice. It's going to delay the third base for a really long time. You got to get another drone over there. You're not going to be able to do that safely until there's a couple more lings out. Barely almost losing that drone. Thankfully, we'll be able to keep that one alive, but the double queen out, we'll be able to... Oh, he comes from the high ground, and we'll actually snipe it coming out of nowhere. Oh my god, Rogue is getting absolutely trounced by this little Reaper right now.
Yeah, Maru is going nuts over here. He's going to try to get that final drone. He does get a kill on that. What? This never happens.
Oh my god, 3 drones for a single Reaper.
A lot of times in the early game, I don't even really talk about what the Reaper's doing because usually nothing ever comes of it. But
yeah,
that was crazy. 3 drone kills, a delayed third hatchery, and Maru on pro level here, just doing damage that's kind of unheard of here. Now Rogue does get a small counterattack here. Oh my god, just god tier control.
Dude, Maru is just so sick, man. All right, well, he's down 1-3 right now, but it seems like he's not really fazed by that fact because he is just coming into this early game feeling pretty good, getting those drone kills, delaying that third base, keeping everything back at home alive as well. We'll be able to send the Hellion across completely freely with no scare of any lings coming out against it. So, yeah, he's going to be setting up very nicely with that third CC, getting his factory switched over, some Hellions, and then he's going to go into most likely some Banshees out of the starport as well. Maru is definitely looking pretty good in this early game.
Yeah, Maru again, off to a very strong start. We'll see how that impacts the development of this game. Maru's going to come around here now with these Hellions. Remember, getting the third hatchery delayed and losing a couple workers, that all of these actions ripple into the rest of the game, right? It's all about getting this worker out to get more money in, to get the next building out, to get that tech out. And so getting delayed early on is pretty massive and has implications much further on into the game. So we have the Banshee with Cloak coming here. Intended to try to pick off a couple drones if he can.
That's so cute. He's attacking the rocks to get the splash damage to go because he knew where the creep tumor got placed. For a second I was like, wait, what? How is he getting damage on this thing?
Yeah, Maru's playing better than I feel like in the last couple minutes of an early game I've ever seen. So much at the pro level is both sides basically playing perfectly, which is remarkable, but you kind of get used to it if you watch a lot of pro matches. That to really see him frankly outdoing Rogue at every step on all these things that, usually it's like lower level players have to deal with this when you're against somebody who's considerably better, but Maru already really on top of it. Looking to be very healthy here as we're in game 5 here. And again, Maru needs to win not 1, but 3 games in a row or he's out. So there's a big lead here for Rogue and literally no margin for error at all here for Maru.
Yeah, he's sharking around with the Hellions, trying to see if he can get any damage done, and he's just going to get let right on in. The door is wide open. The Lings not in position whatsoever, able to take control of the ramp as well. So all of the Lings getting killed off without losing any of these Hellions. Will be able to get an Evo block, but that's just going to mean the Hellions go over to the left-hand side, get right on top of all of these drones. This is a terrible start for Rogue.
This is one of the worst early games I think we've had for anybody in the tournament here. That wasn't just a straight-up loss, which he's just vaporized the last 20 drones. You know, every once in a while we'll see the Hellion run by, and a lot of times we have to ask ourselves, well, did that pay for itself? That paid for itself.
You think so, Tasteless?
I don't need to check the receipts to know that one, that definitely covered it. So, you know, Rogue, again, limping now into the mid-game, not even on a 4th base yet. And, I mean, just look at the production tab at the top. I mean, Terran is ballooning out, teching in all the right directions, checking all the boxes here to be in a healthy position here for a push that will inevitably come. You know, there is something oftentimes formulaic about TVZ, which is like the Zerg has a 4th base and the Terran comes out and attacks at some point in time, right? And most games, that's not where it's decided. But, like, online there is. You know what I mean? In ladder games or when there's one player that's just better than the other, a lot of times that is where it is. This is going to be an interesting one because we have Rogue, who's one of the best Zergs in the whole world, and a, you know, obviously former world champion, as is Maru, in a very difficult position. Here's the 4th base being set up now. Now, when this push comes, the question's going to be, how is he going to hold it? You can see immediately Maru scans, he guns down the creep. He's going to try to make this something where he can kind of shore up just outside the creep, siege up, and then push and do a lot of damage. And excuse me, I thought this was going to be a little bit later. It looks like he's got a medevac right now that's going to come out.
Yeah, on the left-hand side, looks like he's going to continue to try and deny that creep over there as well, just making it as difficult as possible for Rogue to know where exactly the units would coming from later, and allowing himself as many opportunities to get into the Zerg side of the map, basically. And the double Banshee over on the right-hand side was distracting for just a moment, but now we have these double medevacs going up into the main base. We'll be able to try to do some damage here, as there's only a few Lings, so we'll be able to kill those off before the extra Queens and other units come in. Might even try to get a couple of drones, but sees a couple roaches, so we'll just go on to that instead, and then get some extra drones as well before he boosts on out. Gets the scout on that Baneling nest, I believe is what that is over on the right-hand side, but I don't believe he actually clicked on it. But he might be able to just kind of assume that that's going to be the next natural progression.
Yeah, the drop's going to come in here. He's going to try to kill any drones he can. And I don't know that he's going to be able to get out of here with that much.
I'm surprised the Queen actually got killed off there. We'll be able to deny any extra transfuses, any extra creep tumors, as this push is now finally getting its way into this 4th base. Without that creep spread deeply into the middle of the map, there's no knowledge that this is even coming, and now there's a very little amount of leverage point for Rogue to be able to get into this army.
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm worried that this game's just about to end. The hatchery's at like 20% HP. The Ravagers are going to come down here. It just seems like everything has enough sustain. It does. Maru with literally the best early game I think I've seen from him TVZ. That was insane.
20 drones after already getting 3 with a Reaper. Like,
remember when the drone tried to make the extractor and he was like, ah! Just like came in and hockey checked the drone.
Just blasts him through the glass.
Yeah. Just and just totally denied that. I'm about to knock over equipment.
Please
on
don't
our
destroy our entire desk space.
I'm seeing our mute buttons get pulled right under the desk here.
Oh my god.
I mean, that was insane.
Yeah.
The Reaper getting the extra kills in the drones. What are you going to do? Then the push comes in, and it is just too strong.
I mean, if there was a question of whether or not Maru was getting tripped up by those couple of games, especially that one with the mass Ling Queen drop, I think that is going to put all those questions at rest. I mean, Maru is looking as locked in as we've basically seen the entire day coming in with that early game.
It's insane, man. So Maru's got a shot. He has to win the next 2 games in a row to make this 4-3. Again, Rogue just needs 1 win.
Yeah.
I mean, 4-3s do happen. They are much rarer than, you know, obviously like a 4-0 or a 4-1. Those are much more common. But when you have a score that's 3-1, the odds of one player winning 3 in a row, that is rare.
That's so difficult.
That's very hard to pull off because one player's already shown they basically have you kind of figured out when they're at 3-1. They would have won the best of 5.
Right.
But if anybody could do it, it would be Maru. So this series is going to continue on here. and we're going to see what exactly Maru has in store. Now, remember, Rogue, by the way, that last game, I think it's fair to say we don't really know what Rogue wanted to do.
Yeah.
He was basically on the receiving end of like a lot of abuse and in a pretty turbulent game that he was not able to even get out of mid-game in.
Yeah, he just, any plan that he was attempting that game basically just got upended from the early harassment, just getting completely outclassed in that regard. So I think Rogue can just kind of take that game and just kind of push it to the side, just be like, okay, that was just a bad early game. I'm just not going to let that happen again. That just never usually happens at all in my game. So just totally take it the same as he was going to originally. He did look pretty frustrated, though, at the end of that one. I saw in the webcam, you know, taking his glasses off, rubbing his face a little bit as he was typing that GG. So he definitely is going to be feeling the tilt. Rogue is someone that is known to be a bit of a rager overall. I feel like he's had a couple of pretty classic clips of him, you know, punching his desk or screaming. I remember watching like some, like when he was back in Gen Air, they had the team house or whatever. You see one of the pro players streaming, and then in the background you hear just this guttural roar from the back, and everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, that's Rogue."
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, by the way, if he makes it out of this group, we have a short break, but then he's got to go right up against Max Pax. I mean, this is what happens when you come from the losers bracket. And by the way, guys, if he wins, so in case you're just now joining us, I know we're front page on Twitch now. Thank you very much, Twitch. If you're joining us right now, the winner of this goes on to the finals. But the winner, I'm sorry, if the guy from the losers bracket, so whoever these two make it past that, has to win the best of 7, and then it's a reset into a best of 3.
Right.
So this is a really exhausting marathon for those coming from the losers bracket. But of course, that's the burden you get being in the losers bracket, right? The guy in the winners bracket had the flawless run.
Yes.
So Max Pax is waiting for whoever's going to advance here. But right now, Maru and Rogue are looking so sick.
Yeah, it just makes the win that much more impressive as well if they're able to actually go all the way, because you just realize how many games they have to play in a row to get that victory. So it would be absolutely crazy if Rogue could actually manage this. But for now, again, Maru looked very strong in that last game, coming out this game as well with another totally standard option, going for yet again a third CC, going for the factory, going to be going into some Hellions, and the Banshee did so well last game. Do not change it if it wasn't too broken.
Now, the last game is pretty... Oh, nice. Okay, the last game's pretty impossible to recreate.
Yeah.
Like, it's impressive that Maru did it, but, like, Rogue is an extremely good player. He's not going to let that happen
You're
again.
not banking on that being the way you get back in the series.
Right,
to just kill 20 drones every single early game.
Yeah, I mean, he had basically, like, 3 really good moves early on that you know, it makes that fourth base a real layup to come in there and push. But yeah, Maru basically going to stick with, I guess, the basics, you could say, over here. He's going to try to slip the drone in here. He actually did do a little loop around the blind spot of the Reaper here. And so he is going to be able to get that third hatchery set up. And the Reaper's just, for now, trying to scout and see what's going on. We do have the layers starting here as well.
Yeah, we'll be able to get the scout off, actually. That's very important, because I feel like it's a pretty early layer coming on in for Rogue. He has liked going for these early layers overall in this series, it seems like. Thankfully, Maru will get that scout, so he will be aware that that is a possibility. We'll just kind of be going into his double eBay response anyways, getting stim out as well. There's no cloak, I believe, on the Banshee. Actually, there's no starport, actually. I'm just noticing it's got 2 barracks coming out already. So no starport coming in for Maru. So a bit of a switch up on his end. Going to be going for slightly different style. Going to be going for some more bio-heavy play and the faster double eBay.
Okay. For now, it's going to be a lot of powering here. There's no real easy way for either side to really hurt each other, right? They're both taking 3 bases. Although we do have the Hydra Den, like you were saying, coming down here. Or maybe you didn't mention. Maybe I imagine you said that. I was like,
you just hallucinated in the downtime when I was just talking.
So the Hydra Den is coming down here. That is interesting. But yeah, both players going to be powering up for the time being here. Terran getting 1-1, getting stim. In a game, and a lot of the games these guys create, they do end up with these split map positions.
Yes, they do can sometimes get these things, get the maps just totally split up and for these ridiculously long, dramatic matches. Nice little surround there on the Hellion. We'll be able to kill that off, but that was the only Hellion that Maru actually made this game. Plenty of Marines were built out of those double barracks, and the fast stim coming on up, so he's setting himself up for a potential medevac timing with 1-1 and stim finished a little bit later, it looks like. Might try to poke the front a little bit before that just to kind of bait some units out. Did get the scan as well to see that the Hydra Den was making, so it's very critical that he sees that because there's a lot of Hydras in the production tab right now for Rogue. He's not droning anymore at this point. He's going to go full on to a lot of Hydras, continually making them as well. Is he trying to go for a massive Hydra Ling all-in right now?
So I was wondering about this when I saw the Den come down because I'm like, well, that's interesting. This is not a common play.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of burst damage. And remember, the Hydras, if they can get, if you actually win the fight over here, you can shoot down the command center. But then he's making drones behind it. So
yeah.
I don't really... I'm trying to wrap my head around what I'm seeing here.
At first, it looked like he was going to be going for just like a big pressure play and then maybe all-in in behind it, but then he's just making drones, and now he's still aggressing with the units as well, so he's kind of faking this out a little bit, trying to make it look like he's going for a massive all-in play, but instead he's actually droning behind it, getting the infestation pit to eventually go into a hive, assuming he doesn't just make swarm hosts, which he did kind of make at a random time a couple games ago, so it's still possible that he might be doing something totally weird, because we never really know with Rogue. It seems like he can just bring out absolutely anything, but it likely will just be going into the hive and then eventually lurk as well, as that can still be a very strong mid-game army for the Zerg.
Yeah, pretty technical stuff here. It was honestly even confusing for us, and we can see everything. But
it's infestors. What?
Okay,
Hydra
wow.
infestor. Okay.
Yeah.
Rogue.
Very
let's
alternative unit comp here. Now, Maru has to know this is a possibility that you could get behind this, but it's definitely not what you see in ZVT right now. I mean, go back to the ZBTs we already saw here with him versus Cure and him versus Maru. This was not... We didn't have a game like this.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of range here. Now, Hydras, when you have enough of them, the burst damage is insane, right? But when you get the fungal, you freeze everything, and the Hydras just... They erase everything. So, like, if you get a fungal on the medevac and Marine cluster, you're erased. You're gone.
It's the splash damage just is absolutely ridiculous, especially if you can just keep them all clumped up like that. Marines will just get absolutely evaporated.
This is actually kind of a weird concept that's old from StarCraft 1 even, which was Plague and Hydras.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, Hydras aren't like that great in TVZ and StarCraft 1, but if you plague them, they just one-shot everything.
Right.
You kind of kill them, and it's kind of the same idea with the fungal, is that they're frozen, and then you wipe out the medevacs, wipe out everything on the ground, and just kill it.
Yeah, we'll see exactly if he can get that engagement, of course. It's a dream to be able to actually get that. Getting it in the first place is the difficult part, especially since those infestors are very slow. He doesn't have burrow yet, I believe, so he's not able to kind of shark them around, try to get the, the hidden infestor on the back end to pop up and get the big fungal. Will he be able to catch this army out in the middle of the map? Looks like Maru is paying attention. Again, without any, massive amount of like Lings and Banelings to try and trap the army as well to kind of stop it from moving. It's very difficult for Rogue to actually get on top of this army. I'm really curious what he's trying to go for with this, with these move outs, because of course, you need something, because these lurkers are on the production tab, but it takes time to actually get enough out and to get the upgrades ready for them to be viable. Yeah.
He had the right idea earlier, trying to force the tanks to siege. You kind of run away. As long as your hatchery's not getting hit, you're basically fine. He's going to go for lurk. This is such a funny looking comp.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a reason why you don't see it that often. It's not easy to attack in with this, but here we go. The fungals are going to come down. This is a really good... such a narrow area for the Terran army to be in. He just dives in there and melts that right underneath the medevacs.
Then he was able to also kill off this drop on the left-hand side. Didn't really take too much damage other than the hatchery dying, but was still able to kind of continue on after this as well.
Yeah, so you can see Maru, he takes out this building over here, but he lost a huge fight over there in the bottom. And I was saying earlier, like, it's a little bit similar to like Hydra Defiler with Plague, StarCraft 1, where like, when the infestors... Or like, when the Defiler and the Plague hit the Marines, it's kind of like when the Infestors and the Hydras hit the Marines. Like, everything just kind of melts. You can shoot down the medevacs really easily. And, from here, I think that Maru did a decent job of hanging on, but, like, there was just so much strength coming out from Rogue. And by the way, like, a totally different comp.
Yeah.
I mean, every game that Rogue has brought us, he has brought a completely different version of himself. Like, whatever you could have learned from the previous game doesn't apply to the next one.
Yeah. That's always what I find so difficult sometimes when I'm playing even. It's like, I'll play a certain game and I'm doing what I want, but then like something happens that just like totally random that I just never expect. And I'm like, how do I even apply this into another game? I'm never going to play against this again. When is the next time Maru is going to play against someone going for the fast Hydra into 3 Infestor into then Lurkers before you have all of your upgrades strategy?
Yeah. This is a crazy part here. We were talking about when the game was actually happening, like, you know, he's trying to get this before the planetary's done, which is a pretty bold move, right?
Yeah,
because if you overextend, you're going to feed into the Terran. And Rogue is basically staying hyper aggressive, just trying to look for wins anywhere. I actually had not noticed the Lurkers there in the previous in the previous cast we had. It's funny when you go back and look at a replay of this and you see some of the smaller things that you might have missed.
This is us doing that superpower where we can look into the future to refine our cast.
That's right.
Slightly later. This is us doing that.
That's right. So you can see actually a lot of damage was dealt over here at this base.
Yeah, I think the base actually does get taken out. I think this is about when the crash started happening, so we didn't quite see exactly how this started to go down.
Yeah, so the screen started freezing for us up here. And we got another attack coming in up here. And so this is where you have the 3 o'clock base fall apart. And right now you're like 6 bases to 3, which is really bad. The attack comes in up here, but you can see Hydra's here able to kind of stim in and chase this back. Maru's not really getting anything done.
Yeah, and then the Lurkers and the Hydras kind of came back up. They were able to get this trade-off. Were able to kill off a decent amount of these reinforcing bios, so that was a good hold as well for Rogue to be able to continue being aggressive, so then the rest of his stuff can come in from the reinforcements as they were defending that position. And it looks like he kind of just continues to go full throttle with this and doesn't really let off the gas at all, as Maru just kind of tries to get some defenses going, tries to kill off as many Lurkers as possible. We'll be able to get rid of some of those, it looked like, at the top, but then I think the next wave is what really ended up doing Maru in here.
Yeah. So, again, the fungals, the punish is real here. You can see him dive in. And by the way, I want to know if more Zergs are going to play like this. This did look pretty solid. Initially, I thought it was like one of these things that's so off-brand that, like, if you don't know exactly what to do, you're just going to die. But this looked really pretty decent, honestly. And by the way, Rogue bringing just a lot of ideas here. A lot less about meta, which I think occasionally when people start to get a little bit caught up in balance and complaining and like how the game should work or ought to work, you know, take a look at what Rogue's doing. It's just a lot of fresh ideas.
Yeah.
You know,
it's very interesting just the way he can have a totally different take on the matchup. Just doesn't really care what the meta is, doesn't really care what people are saying about things. He can just come out with something fresh, and that's just kind of something he's always been capable of doing, it feels like. He always comes in with these fresh ideas. We've said it plenty of times. And then, yeah, he was able to just kind of continue on to the aggression overall. Maru kind of tried, it seemed like Maru was trying so hard to kind of get some map control back. He kind of kept going to that little low ground position, expecting Rogue to maybe let off the gas a little bit and go back to droning, but he wasn't. So he was kind of losing tanks out in the forward positions. He was just continually losing bio, not able to trade efficiently versus that Lurker Hydra comp.
Yeah. So anyways, that's what happened. Sorry about the crash there. I don't know. Sometimes this just happens. There's not a lot you can do. The players still have time, right? Should we go to another break here? So we give the players, specifically Rogue in this case, a little bit of time because he's gone through it. Best of 5 and a best of 7.
We need some time to relax and prep out again what he's going to do for the grand finals here.
Exactly. So he's just going to kind of reset his brain, go back into PvZ mode. This is the finals, by the way, of Season 4 here. We started this tournament, I think, literally almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah.
We launched the Patreon. We had no idea how much money we would raise. We didn't know what we'd be able to pull off. And in the course of a year, we have built out this studio here in Seoul. I saw some of you guys asking earlier in the chat, like, where are these guys all in Seoul? Yeah, we all live in Seoul.
Yes.
We're all expats living over here that love StarCraft. And we even did our offline finals in December, where we rented out and basically built a set in a real esports space, arena, or whatever you want to call it, here in Korea. And we wouldn't be able to do it without your support. So doing a little plug here for the Patreon. Consider signing up. The money goes to the prize pool, to funding the studio, to funding the casting, the production, all of that. And I mean, it's kind of cool that we've gone this far. We're just getting started here. So, you know, we really appreciate it. We have you do this one.
Okay,
Gemini.
sure. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I'll do. We got a raffle going on because we have a poster that we made for the offline finals last year. If you were an Immortal or higher at all last year, you are just going to be getting one of these. We've got your info. We're going to be sending these out. They're going to be signed by all of us as well. All the crew people here at RSL will be signing these to send on over. And we will also be doing a raffle for 10 more. If you are a paid active Patreon sometime before April 12th, then you are eligible to possibly win this raffle, and we're going to be sending these out to 10 lucky winners with our signatures on them as well.
That's right. Guys, we love Archon Studio. Check them out. They've been supporting us here at the RSL, and they're making the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game, and they've done just an incredible job. So we're very grateful to have their support, and they've sent us some of the figurines. We did some unboxings of it. It's pretty awesome, man. I mean, it's like straight out of the StarCraft 2 cinematics.
Yeah, we already got the Zeratul one painted as well. Ziggy hard at work to be able to paint that thing up, and it looks really cool.
Is
it looks actually very impressive.
Producing this painting figure, you're incredible, man.
Wears a headset with one ear up, and
that's
looks
right,
really
like a real
professional.
producer guy. All right, well, look, we're going to go to a short break. We come back when Rogue is ready, and it won't be that long because we just showed you guys the replay. So just sit tight, and we'll be back soon here with the grand finals of Season 4 of the RSL.